All right, everybody. Welcome to the Murph and E-Dubs Show, episode 30. I'm about to go live with my partner E-Dubs right now. All right, everybody. Here you go out there. Welcome to the Murph and E-Dubs Sports Show. Me and E are back live. It's been a little bit of I guess we've had a little bit of a hiatus for the last couple of weeks. But we're back. Hold on. Let me send out the old invite there. Let me get E involved here. Wait for him to chime on. E there, bud?
What's up, bud? I'm here.
Hey, what's up, dude? Episode 30. Excited?
Yeah, long time no speak, Murph. It feels like a month since we last spoke, right?
Yeah, probably about 2 weeks. It's like you've been hidden in that dungeon doing some accounting work. What is it, tax season or something for you accountants?
That's that. There's a lot of work to be done, but thank God it's Friday, and I think talking sports will be the best medicine for me right now. So looking forward to a good show tonight there, Murph.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And maybe there's some people coming on live. It's real windy out there tonight. I think my house is gonna blow down.
Now, windy's not the word. It's brutal out there, Rich. I was driving before. I had to take my wife to pick up her car, and there were two trees that were blocking the road, basically. So that's what's going to happen tonight. I would keep my phone charged, and this is a public service announcement for everybody. Keep your phone charged. I mean, sometimes we go to bed, we don't realize. Especially on a night like tonight, the winds can be sustained up to 50 miles an hour. We could have blackouts. We could have a blackout during our show there, Murph. How would you like that? That would be weird, right?
That would be great. We won't have a blackout. We're hooked up to batteries, dude. We're gonna keep on going. We'll keep plugging through. Anybody with a battery can chime in with us if they're bored.
Yeah, that's right. I have my phone fully charged, so I'm good to go. But in all seriousness,
I know. I'm waiting for you to break my chops and try to get me into the 20 whatever century. We're not gonna have any Wi-Fi, so we can't do our show.
Yeah, exactly. In all seriousness, though, Murph, Mount Washington, 100-mile-an-hour winds.
Wow.
Wind chills 100 degrees below zero. It's funny, I was on the phone today with a couple of people from India, and I was telling them that it's going to be minus 35 degrees Celsius, the wind chill here, and I also told them that they would never feel that temperature in their lifetime, and they told me they could not imagine. But the good news is, on the weather, it's only a one-day thing, 24 hours. Sunday morning, Sunday will be 45 degrees, so this is kind of a shock to the human body, the temperature dropping this low, and I don't want to get into too much science. We all know what frostbite is and stuff like that, but just be smart if you're going to go out tonight, tomorrow morning. But Sunday through the rest of the week looks good. Temperatures in the high 40s. You might even see a little taste of the mid-50s. So once again, Rich, a winter discontent, no snow.
Yeah, but you know what, though? You're the guy that gives the weather, you've been up on your weather forecast the last couple of years. I always go to you to get the best weather reports. But what's going on? Like, I don't understand why it's going to be freezing cold tonight. Listen, it's supposed to be this temperature every day. It's winter. What I'm saying is, what's going on? Why it's going to be 45 on Sunday? Are we going to get, a winter? Is it going to go right to summer, spring? What is going on with the seasons, dude? It seems to be going right from winter to summer.
Well, I remember some Facebook posts. A lot of people were posting about the Farmer's Almanac saying it's going to be a cold, snowy winter. So, the trend's been bucked on that. Basically, the jet streams are keeping the snow out of our way. The jet stream has been pushing the snow into California, Northern California, a lot of snow.
Right.
Some places in the Midwest, a lot of snow. Colorado, a lot of snow. But when it comes to the way it's going across the country, it's kind of like deflecting the snow from our area. And when it's deflecting the snow, it's keeping the warmer temperatures as well. Tonight is a freak gift from Canada. It's called polar vortex. Sometimes polar vortex can last for 2 weeks. But though, Rich, this isn't the Weather Channel. This is the Murph and E-Dubs Sports Show. But you know what? Put your hat on, put your gloves on, be smart. Save a couple of fingers. I mean, it's really brutal. You could be outside 10 minutes in this weather, and you can get frostbite. I was on the porch giving a teaser about tonight's show, and ladies and gentlemen, I was only out there 30 seconds, so don't say he's nuts or anything. I came back in. I was under my heated blanket working again, so it was only 30 seconds. But yeah, be smart. And Rich, only 8 more weeks till opening day, so we're almost out of the woods on winter, basically.
You know what's happening? You know what's going to happen? It's probably going to snow on opening day. That's what's going to happen. That's the way the temperature's been going.
That's funny. Kevin chimed in and says the jet stream is pushing that giant balloon up there, and I thought that balloon was the new Goodyear blimp was going to film the Super Bowl this year. It was headed towards Arizona, but got lost. And there's an app called you can track the airplanes in the country. You ever see that app?
Yes.
Rich, where you can track all the airplanes?
Yep. Yep, I've seen it.
So Ben brought it to my attention, and he had it. He showed me Nebraska yesterday, and all you saw was planes circling over Nebraska. It was like, what the hell is going on in Nebraska? And the news kept it quiet, so finally it broke on the news. It hit Fox, it hit CNN, so they were all broadcasting. But if you looked at this airplane thing, it's like, what the hell is going on in the Midwest?
I don't know. There's something going on. I mean, maybe there's something in the water. I don't know what's going on in this country, in this world. It's like, the seasons are all screwed up. The animals are acting all crazy. People are acting all crazy. I don't know what's going on, man. But I don't know. I guess smarter people in charge of other things, Free card Monty.
Somebody told me. Somebody told me it was the balloon provides free Wi-Fi for those who cannot get Wi-Fi. So can you imagine China sending a balloon to the United States for people to get Wi-Fi and stuff? And tell me they're not going to tap into that, right?
Well, they're probably getting Wi-Fi for the people that are here to tap into, their spies or something they got going on over here. I don't know. They pay people a lot of money to figure that stuff up. Me and you are paid. Not even we're paid. Me and you are discussing sports. I wish they'd pay us a lot of money to figure out some of these conspiracy theories. I know my sister's out there listening right there. I know my niece Michaela has a bunch of conspiracy theories that she would like to discuss on our show one night. We got to get you on one night, Michaela, because I thought of another one. I'll talk to you when I see you tomorrow. My niece is all about the conspiracy theories, dude. It's pretty cool. We had a good conversation the other day.
Oh, well, look at that. So, getting back to sports, I'm driving down Route 52 this afternoon, actually going to Beacon, and I saw a big billboard. You know what the billboard said, Rich?
I can only imagine. I know what it says, but why don't you let us have it, E?
Yeah, I never seen it before. Congratulations to Pete Lyons.
Yes.
It was for Fishkill Little League.
Yes.
Advertisement. I'd never seen Fishkill Little League advertised like that before. Kudos to those guys.
Absolutely. Now I'm seeing a lot of that stuff around here too, and I've been pushing the Fishkill Little League, on here for the last couple of weeks, and Pete Lyons is getting the word out for Fishkill Little League. He told me, he gave me a little insight to some of the numbers they got coming in for the spring, and there's a lot of kids in T-ball, and there's a lot of kids coming back to Fishkill Little League to play, man. He's got those billboard. He's got that billboard. What is that? On 52, right? That billboard.
It's 52, right going into Beacon. Yeah, big billboard. It says you can play. There's a bunch of towns you could live in and actually sign up for Fishkill Little League and stuff. Gave the website. Really cool billboard. Really cool.
Man. That's definitely a lot of it's definitely a lot of good stuff. Listen, if you guys are out there looking for something to do, man, come down and sign your kids up for Fishkill Little League, man. T-ball. They need coaches. I don't know if anybody out there listening. If you guys want to coach baseball, it's a great. I tell you guys all the time. Me and E met there. Come down, sign you guys up for T-ball, baseball, coach, softball, whatever you guys want to do. Pete's doing a good job over there, man. You're absolutely right, Eric.
Yeah, now, Rich, maybe we can go on opening day, interview some of the kids. Ask them a couple of questions. Favorite ball player.
Oh, I plan on it.
Favorite food, all that stuff. So that would be cool if we could be able to do that, Rich.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember a couple of years ago, maybe I don't know, it was a long time by now. We were up in the booth, and I was announcing, I guess, the coach pitch all-star game. It was something, whatever, something to give the kids a medal. But they asked the kids what their favorite baseball players were. And, the kids went down the line, Derek Jeter, this one, that one. And for the life of me, I can't remember the kid's name. But when they got to his name, without even hesitating, he asked him who his favorite baseball player was, and he said Aiden Murphy. And Aiden was on the other side playing a game up at the majors, and he heard his name. He's like, Aiden Murphy. He's like, you hear all these names like Derek Jeter and this one and that one. My favorite baseball player is Aiden Murphy. It was pretty funny, actually.
Oh, look at that, huh? Nice. That's very good.
Yeah.
I want to get Aiden's autograph because he was a star that day, right? He's a star.
Absolutely.
Is he in the Fishkill Little League Hall of Fame there, Rich, or what?
If there was a Hall of Fame for Fishkill Little League, we would. Yes, he would be in there, definitely. We had a lot of good times there, dude. Absolutely. Aiden Murphy is number one. Yes, he is.
I think I would go in for the best analytical guy on the coaching staff, right, Rich?
Eric, I swear to God, when me and you started coaching together, that was such a load off my chest, man. I did not have to worry about any numbers, pitch counts, the score. All I had to do was coach the kids. You had every single thing written down. You had to a T. I never had to worry about any of that. Or if anybody had a pitch count, well, say talk to Eric. Boom, absolutely, nothing to argue about. Eric had every number down pat. That was perfect, dude.
I think I won a couple of games for you too, Rich, with the pitch count because I was able to get some of the star pitchers on the opposition out of the game. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
So my war record is pretty good in Fishkill Little League, I guess, right?
Oh, I'd have to say it. Oh, absolutely. Yes, your war record, wins above replacement. I wish someday somebody could explain what war was, but yes, Eric, if it's a high war, yes, your wins above replacement is definitely high. All right, dude.
Yeah. So how's your week, Rich? How you doing?
My week's been pretty good. I've been pretty busy. You know, like I know my mom and my sister are out there listening. You know, I've been back and forth with the family. You know, like my mom. I told you guys last week. My mom hurt her shoulder. I've been helping out a little bit. You know, helping my dad out too. So it's been a little bit of a crazy week. But hey, listen, that's what we're here for, man. Right? We're here to take care of our parents when they need us. So you guys are gonna get better real soon, and we're gonna be back on track, guys. Mom and Dad, you guys are gonna get up real soon, back on track, and that's what we're here for.
Exactly. Yeah, same here, Rich. We went to my mom's house last week. We were celebrating her birthday. My wife's birthday next week. My mom said to get some prime rib. I went to Adams in the morning. I got 8 bones of prime rib, and I didn't realize when the butcher took it out and had it on the counter, it was 23 pounds of meat. So, yeah, I think I've seen enough steak now, or prime rib, for at least a month or 30
Hey,
or 3 months.
What was the biggest? Let me ask you a question now. You're a steak guy. What was the best and the biggest steak you've ever had?
The biggest steak I ever had was 48 ounces, Rich.
Now, necessarily the 48-ounce steak. Now, necessarily just because it's a big steak doesn't necessarily mean like the best steak you ever had, right? Because I've had a pretty small piece of filet mignon that was the best steak I've ever had in my life. So it's really not the size that matters. It's obviously the cut of meat, right?
Yeah, no, it was the cut, Rich. It was right here in Fishkill, right on Main Street, Italian restaurant, La Conda.
Really?
It was a 48-ounce porterhouse, and I think it was Pat LaFrida steak. Now, Pat LaFrida delivers to City Field. They do that steak sandwich there. It was probably the most tender steak I ever had. It was cooked to perfection, and people in the restaurant watching me eat this thing, I was a hero when I left the restaurant. They were all asking me questions. They were interviewing me practically, and one guy said he couldn't believe I could eat that much and not even be that aside from a person that could eat that much of a steak, you know. But yeah, I nailed the steak, the potatoes. The vegetable, and of course dessert, and all washed it down with a Diet Coke. Right?
Now you don't know. You're not a big movie buff. Do you ever see the movie The Great Outdoors?
Oh, is that where he ate the grizzle with John Candy, right?
The old
82 ounces, right?
No, the old 96er, dude. 96-ounce piece of meat. The old 96er.
It's the 96er.
The 96er.
He loved the grizzle, right?
Oh my God,
He had that little piece of.
That was so funny. That was a good movie, man. John Candy, hey, another guy that died too soon, man. He was very funny. He had a lot of funny movies, that guy.
Yeah, Planes, Trains, Automobiles. There was also that
Uncle
one
Buck.
where he broke his leg. They were on vacation. Was it Summer Rental was called or something like that?
Summer Rental, yes. Cannonball Run. No, he wasn't in Cannonball Run. That was Dom DeLuise. I get them confused sometimes. Uncle Buck, great movie.
Summer Rental was great. I remember the one part where Candy was they had lobster that night, I think, and they were going for the lobster, and and there was no more lobster left when he got to the tank, and then when he was hurt, he broke his leg or something. The kid was looking in the window at the beach house, and you see this kid with red hair and freckles just picking his nose through the window. I died in that scene. I thought that was pretty funny. So you see, Rich, I do see movies.
Oh my God, I'm so happy that you saw that movie. Finally, you could chime in on a funny movie. Oh my God, that was great. I was talking to the Amish Outlaw the other night. I don't know if you guys heard. He never saw The Godfather. I couldn't believe it.
Wow. Well, speaking about movies, Rich, the number 30. I want to talk about that for a sec. And there is a movie that I specialized, especially notified in the number 30 thing this week. But first of all, the number 30, I said it seemed like we haven't spoken 30 days.
Yeah,
is
definitely.
That true, Rich? It seems like that, right?
It definitely seems like it, dude.
It's not 30 degrees out. Yeah, it's not 30 degrees outside, but it might be 30 degrees Celsius, minus 30 degrees Celsius tonight, like I said, with the wind chill. Here's where we go with the movie, Rich, Back to the Future. Marty McFly traveled back 30 years in time, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes, you did. Absolutely.
So cats have 30 teeth.
Do they? Okay.
The Greece country code for calling is number 30. When a married couple hits 30 years, it's called the Pearl Wedding Anniversary. So I'm a couple of years quick, not Rich. The Pearl Wedding Anniversary. I don't know what that means, but I guess I'll eat oysters or something like that.
Pearl necklace.
30 songs in the Beatles. What's that, Rich? I'm sorry.
Not that I said. You get. What do you get? I said, what do you get? A pearl? You get a pearl necklace on your 30th wedding anniversary? Nah, I'm sorry. It went over your head.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I guess. Yeah. It's late, Rich. I gotta focus here. 30 songs on the Beatles album, the White Album, including Birthday, Revolution,
Awesome. Great album,
and Obla Di Obla Da. You a Beatles fan, Rich?
Yes, I am. Big Beatles fan. Yes, absolutely. They changed music.
Yeah, and XM Radio, channel 18 is the Beatles station. I love it. Atomic number 30 is zinc. The second point of a tennis game is number 30, right? 30. The War of 1618 to 1648 lasted 30 years, was called the 30-Year War. Calvin Coolidge was the 30th president, the only president born on the 4th of July. On the flip side, 3 of the first 5 presidents died on the 4th of July, including Jefferson and Adams, who died on the same day in 1826 on the 4th of July, and James Monroe 5 years later on the 4th of July. The 30th state is Wisconsin. A lot more subdued than the 28th and 29th states, Florida and Texas, as you would think. The first ice cream sundae was concocted in 1891 in Wisconsin. Green Bay is the toilet paper capital of the world.
Wow.
We also have a good quarterback, or maybe former good quarterback, we'll speak about later. And Sheboygan is the bratwurst capital of the world. So that is the number 30 in facts. Now, how about number 30 in athletes? So do you have any number 30s for me, Rich?
Yes, I do. I don't know. You think? What do you think? You think this could be, depending on what fan you are, what sports fan you are. There could be 2 number 30s. You have to either go Martin Brodeur or Steph Curry. Take your pick. Those are 2 of the greatest number 30s ever. And there's other guys out there, I understand. But I don't know. Steph Curry and Martin Brodeur. I mean, Lundqvist wore 30 as well. But you want to hear another crazy fact too? Steph Curry, Seth Curry, and Del Curry all wore the number 30 and wear the number 30. So I guess the number 30 is something special, I guess, I know Steph Curry wore it at Davidson also. But I don't know, what do you think, man? If you were to choose, I know you're more of a basketball fan than an NHL fan. It might tickle our NHL fans a little bit, but listen, Brodeur won a lot of cups. Curry won a lot of championships. They are both outstanding future Hall of Famers in their sport. What would you say is a more relevant number 30 in sports? Steph Curry or Martin Brodeur, or do you have one of your own?
No doubt, Rich. I was a Devils fan. I kind of still follow the Devils, not as much as when I lived in Jersey back in the day with the Stanley Cups and stuff. But I think hockey goalies are one of the toughest positions in sports. I mean, having a puck like that come at you at 100 miles an hour and trying to deflect it and everything. I mean, these guys used to be maskless, right, back in the day, the hockey goalies, right? So look where hockey's become. These guys are stronger. They're hitting the puck and stuff. I think it's one of the toughest positions in sports. What do you think about that?
No, I was just going to say that to you. You know what, though? I think if you're a hockey goalie, I mean, the athleticism that you have to show, and especially in the playoffs, man. If you're supposed to be like, all year you've been killing it, and you're like this big, goalie, and like it comes down to like, the Stanley Cup Finals or something, there's a ton of pressure on you. And you see some of the stuff that these guys do, the splits they do, the jumping, and I mean, it's amazing how, what great athletes these guys are. So I'd have to say, Eric, you might be right. A playoff / hockey goalie, I guess the 4 major sports, because again, we can't speak on the other ones, but I think a hockey goalie has to probably be one of the toughest sports. I mean, listen, you could say, you could say pitcher, or you could say quarterback of an NFL football team, but nobody, I think, literally puts their team on their back when they need them the most, I think, than a hockey goalie.
No doubt. I mean, these guys, like I said, they have to have such good reflexes, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, you know, you see these guys go out there. How many hockey goalies? You know, there's 82 games in a season. Sometimes they get a break. The goalies like on a back-to-back, but these guys are out there like every day basically. And
Yo,
stuff, so,
yo, you want to hear some? I got a funny story about a hockey goalie. I know this guy. He's an ironworker. He's a friend of mine. I won't give his name out, but he's an older guy. You know, he's pushing 60. He may even be 60. But the point I'm making about this guy is he plays hockey. He's a big hockey fan.
Yes.
And he plays hockey literally at a high level. He's a hockey goalie. And this guy, it's so funny. He would come into work sometimes, like, and he'd be sitting by our gang box in the morning or whatever, and like he would just have like a handful of shims. You know what a shim is? Like, you know when you got to lift something up, you shim something up, you know, a little, an eighth, a quarter inch. But anyway, the apprentices would come in, and this is probably like 6:30 in the morning. No one's even really had their coffee or whatever. You turn around, you throw a box of shims at the apprentice. Say, all right, listen, and he would literally make up his own like hockey pads out of like, you know, cardboard or whatever he found on the job, and he would just have the apprentices just chucking shims at him for like an hour, and he was like, yeah. Dude, the guy's like almost 60 years old, bro, and I swear he blocked every single shim, dude. I mean, this is probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. And it also got a little funnier. There are times when we would work nights, and we work really, really long hours. So, you know, there'd be a couple of trips, you know, to the watering hole a couple of times, you know. When it gets to be about 2 o'clock in the morning and you're doing it for like a week straight, you get to be a little delirious. So those nights with throwing the shims at this certain ironworker that I'm talking about became very, very funny. And it's probably one of the funniest things I think I've ever seen, dude. It was so funny.
Was it John Van Beesbrook?
He's a Ranger. He's a big Ranger fan. I don't know who his favorite Ranger is, but I know he's a huge Ranger fan. Yo, I would love to get this guy on our podcast, bro, but I don't know. He might be a little too much for us, bro. He is funny as hell, dude. But we need about a 3 or 4 hour podcast for this guy because he would definitely talk for hours. But he's got some funny stories. I'll tell you, he still goes on these trips, dude. He goes down to Florida. He goes out to, you know, wherever they're having these over 50 tournaments. And they go down there and his team kicks ass. You know, it's funny.
Well, he's still playing, huh? Wow.
He still plays, dude. It's unbelievable to me. He still plays.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, almost like Gordie Howe, right? Gordie Howe, he played into his 60s, right? It seemed, right? Remember that he was playing with his sons on the ice and stuff.
Did he play? Yeah, yes, I think he did play till that old. Yeah, absolutely. What's his name just died the other day? Hull died. You guys cover the WNBA. See, Kevin, you guys cover the WNBA.
We'll definitely have a preview of the WNBA coming up. Yeah, definitely.
Oh man, I am gonna have.
Rich, I think we talked more hockey in the past 5 minutes than we have all 30 episodes right now. You think, right? You see, we talk hockey. What is it? Playoff hockey is the absolute best, but fuck hockey. I hear you, Kev. Who do you think's gonna win the USFL this year, the championship?
Oh man, I know. I told you this last time. I can never get into the USFL. I don't know why. Not to lack of. Just maybe it was just too much football. I don't know about that.
Well, Rich, it's even. You got all these teams, right? You got the New Jersey Generals, and you know where the New Jersey Generals play their home games in Birmingham, Alabama. You can't even go to see one of these games. It's crazy. I mean, it's not like the old USL where they actually courted NFL players. This is more like a developmental league. And actually, there was one guy in the USFL who played last year that actually had a good season with the Cowboys. So there are some guys getting noticed. So you notice football is like the only sport that doesn't have a minor league. So you could consider the USFL being a minor league to the NFL. Basically.
Listen, you know, the minor league is college. College is the minor league. Same with basketball. Basketball and football. The minor league is literally college. That's kind of like how I look at it, you know.
Oh yeah, no doubt. You know, but I guess these undrafted guys get a chance to show what they got and stuff. You know, who knows? But yeah, getting back to the number 30, Rich, you missed one. You missed a very popular one, Mr. Nolan Ryan. How about that?
Oh my God, I can't believe. Yes, I forgot Nolan Ryan. Oh my God, you know what? I have him written down too. He was my number one there too, and I don't know why I perused right over him. Yes, Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan, 324 wins, 7 no-hitters, definitely a number 30, and Orlando Cepeda, called the Baby Bull, had a great career with the Giants over at first base. Terrell Davis in the NFL, 2-time Super Bowl champ. It's only a 7-year career, but had a pretty good little name for himself, Terrell Davis, too, right?
Yeah, he did. He played. Yeah, he won a Super Bowl, right? Didn't he win the Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos?
Yeah, sure did. Sure did. I think he won MVP as well. Yeah, in the Super Bowl.
Like what happened? What happened to him, Eric? Do you have anything like what happened to him? Like he was literally so dominating for like 2 or 3 years, and he just literally stopped playing football.
I think the injuries caught up with him, Rich. You know, sometimes these guys. I mean, the career of a running back. How many years do you think the running back can get with a lot of the hits they get and stuff like that? You know, I mean, some running backs. You know, we saw what's his name, Frank Gore played forever. Yeah, he stayed healthy and stuff, but you know, Davis. You know, he just didn't have it. You know, and you know, sometimes the injuries, but he had a nice, solid career too. You know,
Running back's a tough position to play in the NFL. I mean, and you know what sucks about that is it's becoming more and more like not an irrelevant position, but it's becoming more and more like we're past these days of like the Adrian Petersons coming up, anticipation, the Barry Sanders and all these guys like these running backs like coming into the NFL. I think we're kind of. I know who was the last, like I guess maybe Saquon Barkley was like the last running back to come out of college that was supposed to make a huge impact. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott came out of Ohio State, right? And he was supposed to make a big impact. I don't know, man. I just don't think the running back is that important of a position anymore in the NFL as it used to be.
Yeah, remember Trent Richardson came out of Alabama, was supposed to be one of the greatest running backs ever.
Yeah.
And he was such a bust, that guy, right? Crazy.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
Yeah,
All right, so anything else? Anything else on the number 30 there, dude?
Yeah, I always do the Mets and the Yankees, the favorites number 30s, and it's kind of ironic this year, Rich. The two number 30s, the Mets and the Yankee guys, were actually traded for each other in the offseason in 2021 into the 2022 season. It was Jolly Rodriguez for the Mets and Miguel Castro for the Yankees. Both wore number 30, but the best number 30 for the Yankees is Willie Randolph. Any Yankee fan would agree that Randolph wore number 30 well. And, of course, for the Mets, when I looked at number 30, I thought of Nolan Ryan, but he didn't play that much in New York. But Michael Conforto wore number 30 for many years for the Mets.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes. Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
Listen, I have go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I said that's the number 30 in 30 minutes it took. I saw Kevin said it sounds like one of those birthday things. Like I know when I go to Jerick's, they have those little books of the years and stuff. I got my wife one when she turned 50, about 1972, a book on all about facts and stuff like that. So that's what it sounds like, Kevin. So stay tuned for 31 next week.
Perfect. I got a hypothetical situation for you to talk about. Now it entails the college championship. Now the college championship. Now go over to college. Let's go over to college championship. Like the first two games. What were the first two games? It was Georgia, Michigan State, Ohio, and who's the other team?
TCU.
All right, now TCU and Michigan, right? TCU played Michigan, right? And Ohio State played Georgia, right?
Georgia. Yeah.
All right. So the point I'm making is now let's just say hypothetically speaking, Michigan, they lose, and let's just say hypothetically speaking that Ohio State goes on to win the national championship and they beat Georgia. Now Michigan State's over there in Michigan. And they're like, holy shit, we were in the top four. And, Ohio State, they won the national championship. You know what? Why don't we raise the flag for Ohio State on our campus? You know what? Let's say, that'd be a nice gesture, I think. I think Ohio State, the Buckeyes would like, I think, if we raise their flag in honor of the Ohio State Buckeyes winning the national championship on Michigan Wolverines. Now, I don't know, man. You think that would be a nice gesture or you think that would be something, I think that'd be silly, right?
That would be silly for a reason because it's done on a campus. It's not like a state thing. It was just done on campus. It's kind of different when a school does it.
Uh-huh.
I think I know where you're going with this, Rich. But but yeah, that wouldn't be a nice gesture. That would be silly.
Okay. All right. Now, why though? Like, all right. So you obviously know where we're going with this, right? So now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
All right. So now you sound like you're getting defensive already. All right. Look. I'm just saying. I'm talking about. Look, I was reading on Facebook the other day. Now. I personally think that people look at this from a life scope. It doesn't mean shit, dude. Literally, I'm not saying that this is the end all be all of what's happening in the world. Actually, you know what? Actually, it is the end all be all of what's going on in this world. Now, we live in New York City, where New York City takes their teams pretty damn seriously. Now, I want to hear what you have to say first because I'm a Jet fan. And listen, you're a Yankee fan, and you're probably, I'm gonna ask you to compare. Like, what if the Red Sox flag was flown in New York City too? But now I understand that your buddy over there on Facebook said it was a nice gesture, and you guys went back and forth, and you guys obviously you agreed with them and said it was kind of a nice gesture. Now you being a sports fan, Eric. Now I know you're passionate, and I don't know how big of a sports fan your buddy Howard is there, but I know you're a big sports fan. But when it comes to sports, I think that this is something that, bro, it's New York. I don't know if you could really go along with saying, it's a nice gesture.
Okay, so the Empire State Building, people, when I first saw this on Sunday night, I'm thinking, what's the big uproar? The Empire State Building's been doing this for the past 8 years. They've been doing it for both the NFC and the AFC teams, and do it for the Super Bowl winner. They do it for World Series as well.
Okay.
I think it was in Astros colors back in October, and it never really raised an eyebrow, Rich. The Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2018, and the Empire State Building was in Eagles color that year. So I don't know. There was no uproar that year in 2018. All of a sudden, the uproar this year. And like I said, there was Chiefs colors after. It wasn't just a dig on New York, and I don't think there would be a dig. But let me take it back to the Empire State Building. I worked in the Empire State Building in 2 years. Before 1998, I worked in the Empire State Building. So before 9/11, I worked on the 20th floor. I was having to take the stairs up every day. It was some nice exercise and stuff. I do have one bad thing to say about the Empire State Building back in the day. It was owned by Leona Helmsley, the Helmsley family. Leona Helmsley was called Queen Mean, and boy was she mean as ever, Rich. The air conditioner wouldn't go on until Memorial Day, and it would get shut off on Labor Day. So there were some times where we'd be sitting at our desks on the 20th floor. We'd be sweating our asses off because it could be 90 degrees in April and May, as we know. We'd open the windows up, and when we opened the windows up, it was kind of funny because you get that cross air ventilation, and everyone's papers would be blowing off the desk. It was pretty funny, but the cross ventilation, you could feel the breeze and stuff. But getting back to what you're saying, Rich, I mean, I don't think there's any issues with this. Like I said, it was done before. It's been done the past couple of years, and nobody ever said anything until this past Sunday. Now, I think social media blows it out of proportion, and there were guys in the lobby of the Empire State Building on Sunday night trying to storm the building. So behaviors have changed over the past couple of years, Rich. As human beings, we take things a little too seriously, I think. But I think this was, and I'm going to let you have the stage in a couple of seconds, but I really don't see any problem with this. Like I said, they did it for the Red Sox in 2016. They put Red Sox colors on the Empire State Building when the bomb went off in Boston. But like I said, Rich, we both said a couple of months ago in an episode that, sports have really changed. Like I said, I went to a Yankees-Red Sox game. I saw Big Papi and Derek Jeter hugging and stuff on the field. And like I was speaking to a guy at work. He's a Red Sox fan, diehard Red Sox fan. And he was saying, we never saw this in the 80s, the 70s. The Red Sox and the Yankees hated each other. Sports are different now. And I think the players don't give a shit anymore about that. I think it's all about the fans now. I think the fans all get riled up about this stuff. You see the fights in the stands and everything like that. I don't think the players give a shit. All the players want now is their paycheck, Rich. And don't get me wrong, I'm a diehard sports fan. I love the games and stuff. But I think players just love their paychecks, and that's all they care. They don't care about the rivalries anymore. And you know what? Some of these guys don't even care about the team. We'll talk about Kyrie Irving later. He doesn't care about his team, But I'm just saying, I don't think it really mattered and stuff. I mean, it might, Giants and Jet fans might get a little upset, but like I said, in 2018, nobody raised an eyebrow. So that's how I feel about it, Rich.
See, I think you're 1,000% wrong. I think that this is. I think honestly, because and what about who did the Philadelphia Eagles beat the week prior? They beat the New York Giants. Now, again, I'm going to look at this. I'm going to speak about this passionately from a sports fan perspective. I'm not going to look at it from like in the grand scheme of things. Listen, yes, it doesn't mean shit. There's a lot of crazy things going on, but we disappear from those things to go to sports, and we have our sports rivalries. Dude, this rivalry went back from 1933. It's known as the biggest rivalry in sports. Okay, second biggest rivalry in sports history since 1933. They've been in the same division since 1933. A guy named Chuck Bedard almost killed Frank Gifford, knocked Frank Gifford out for 18 months. He wasn't even able to come back. Herm Edwards picking up the fumble. Knew numerous fights throughout the goddamn Eagles had a jail at the vet to arrest the fans. And again, I know you're talking about the fact that the players don't give a shit. I'm not talking about it from the players' perspective because you just hit the nail on the head before. We talk about this all the time, and Michael Jordan talks about it all the time. The problem with competitive nature in sports is everybody wants to be each other's friend. So you know what though? No Empire State Building. You can't put the hated rivals of the New York Giants up there on the Empire State Building. Listen, I don't know the history. I didn't go too far into it, but I just want to know, you could tell me after, do any other, would somewhere in Boston put the Yankee colors up in the middle of Boston if the Yankees won the World Series, dude? I mean, come on. I'm looking at it from a sports perspective and a ball-breaking perspective. I'm not looking to go beat nobody up because they throw up. I'm just looking at it as a total. I actually think, to be honest with you, I mean, from what I understand, you could probably pay to have those colors put up now. Now, maybe it was like a wise-ass Eagles fan or something like that that said, hey, I'm going to pay $1 million to put the Eagles colors. It doesn't matter. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes to sports and these rivalries, it's what we have. I'm not saying it's going to get violent. I'm not saying, I watched a video of a big fat guy literally throwing up on a little girl at a Philadelphia Phillies fan because she had a Met jersey on. These Philadelphia Phillies fans and these Eagles fans, and listen, I'm not saying New York fans aren't animals either. Like, we have our share of animals too, but it's a well-known fact that Philadelphia Eagles fans, they're animals. I mean, some of the stuff, they yell and they scream. And again, don't get me started on some of the stories that a lot of my buddies tell me at Ranger Flyers games. I mean, that's not the aspect I'm talking about. I'm just talking about some competitive banter and how disrespectful it is to fly another color, especially of a team that has been your rival since 1933 and just beat you and kicked you out of the playoffs. Not only kicked you out of the playoffs, they literally embarrassed you off the football field. And that's the flag that you're going to fly on the Empire State Building? I don't know, man. To me, it just sounds like it's a little, we got to keep some kind of us against you mentality. Everybody can't get along at all times, man. Like you're saying about how the players don't give a shit. I think you're right. The players really don't give a shit. And we are going to go into a couple of players, during the NBA, who I really don't give a shit. I think they're naturally talented and gifted, but they don't give a shit. But I think there still has to be some kind of history with rivalries, and it has to be some kind of stuff for sports fans to talk about. And again, I'm not thinking about putting a knife in the guy's chest that flew the colors, but I'm also thinking, listen, New York, I understand, but listen, guys, they flew the Eagles colors. I'd be pissed if they flew the Patriots colors. I'd be pissed if they flew the Phillies colors. But again, it's something for us to talk about. But I'm very surprised at you, though, dude, by your answer about how you're not ticked off, but I'm very surprised at how you said, when your buddy said there's a nice gesture. Oh, it's a nice gesture. No, it's not a nice gesture. It's stupid. It's sports. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be violent. It's supposed to be, it's supposed to, get us going. We're not supposed to have that nice guy mentality when it comes to sports. Afterwards, maybe. In the off season, maybe. But not on the field, dude. I don't know. I just think that sports is so big, and it's not like they flew the colors for the local softball team. Sports is so big in this country. The NFL is so big in this country that no sporting event goes up against the Super Bowl except for the Professional Bowlers Tour. And they got balls, obviously. The point, like I said, the point I'm making is I know we're passionate sports fans, and when it comes to the fandom, we're passionate about that too. I just think that was a big, fat L for the Empire State Building as a New York fan. Whew!
Yeah, but Rich, they did it for the Chiefs too, so...
I don't care if they did it for the Chiefs. You're missing my point. You're missing my point. I don't care if they did it for the Chiefs. Are the Chiefs the rivals of any New York team right now? No. The Eagles are a long-running rival of the New York Giants. I don't care if they did it for the Chiefs. As a matter of fact, I want to see Pat Mahomes win the Super Bowl this year. I'm not saying if he's going to or not, but you're fine. But you know what, though? Then don't do it for anybody. If they do it for the Chiefs, I don't care. It's not a direct slap in the face to New York fans. Because we don't care about the Chiefs. Unless we're playing them in the Super Bowl.
What about for Rutgers? They did it for Rutgers in the past too. Rutgers is a New Jersey school, not a New York school. You got St. John's. How do you think the St. John's alumni feel about that?
All right, now you're going down to college, huh? You want to get a little more. What about Fishkill Little League and East Fishkill? What about them flying each other's flags? Wow, you're really going down. I can't, listen, I'm a little surprised at you. That's all right, a little surprised at you, that's all. But anyway, what? What's that?
For Rich, please follow the Empire State Building on Twitter. Don't diss the Empire State Building. It's still a great place to go to.
I would never diss the Empire State Building. You know why? I'll tell you a little story about the Empire State Building. My great-grandfather worked as an iron worker on the Empire State Building. He fell from the 4th floor, rolled over the edge, and grabbed onto the 3rd floor netting and pulled himself up to save his life. But he ripped all his shoulders up, and he went back to work. That's what my grandfather did at the Empire State Building. Iron workers and construction people built that Empire State Building. So you know what, though? I would never disrespect the Empire State Building. I would disrespect the mentality of these people now that say it's a nice gesture to put the Eagles colors on top of the Empire State Building. So I would never diss the Empire State Building.
I guess it's going to happen again next week, too. Next Sunday night, they're going to do the same thing for the winner, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, it's saying you're not going to care, and that's fine. You know, so we'll see what it is. You're not going to care. That's fine. Because it's nice. You're right, Eric. It'll be a nice gesture. You're right. And maybe I'm being too mean.
Do you think the Buffalo Bills fans are pissed off, too?
I think they can fly. I think they should. I think they should fly the Buffalo Bills colors at the Empire State Building because they are a New York team.
No, but do you think they're pissed that the Chiefs' colors went up, the Bills?
Oh, I don't know. Did they say anything? I don't know. I didn't really think about it because Buffalo is like 900,000 miles away and may as well be in a different country. May as well be in Russia. Buffalo is so far, dude. Isn't it amazing?
I have a better question for you, though, Rich.
Go ahead.
Better question. What if the Detroit Lions won the NFC and won the Super Bowl? They flew the Detroit Lions colors on Sunday night. There's nothing said, right?
Why would it be said? You're missing the point, dude. You're completely missing the point. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, what about the Cleveland Browns? If the Cleveland Browns won, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Oh, what about if the Minnesota Vikings won? No, I wouldn't have a problem with that. You're missing the point, dude.
Yeah. Well, but they did it in 2018. So why was the uproar now? Why was the uproar in 2018? Nobody's talked about it.
To be 1,000% honest with you, I was not aware of that. And if I was aware of that, I definitely would have made a big deal about it.
Or was it the fact that the Eagles' path to the playoffs didn't go through beating the Giants? Maybe that's what it was. And this year, since they beat the Giants, that's what caused the uproar of the fans. Maybe.
Listen, maybe it was, but like I said, dude, a week prior they knocked your team out of the playoffs, and now you're gonna light the Empire State Building, a bastion and a beacon for New York City, and you're gonna light it up in the Eagles colors. I don't know, whatever. I just don't think it's right. It's like, you know, again, the competitive nature of sports and everybody smacking each other on the behind and saying, nice job, buddy. Forget about it. Michael Jordan is throwing up. Michael Jordan probably looks at sports today and goes into bed and he throws up every day. Look at all the niceness going on in sports these days. It's going to be nice outside of sports, but when you're on the field, you're on the court or whatever it is, you guys are there to compete, not to be nice to each other.
One more thing, though, Rich, before we move on. Was there any reaction from the New York Giants players or coaches on this? I didn't see anything.
But that's the thing. It doesn't matter. I'm not talking about the players, the coaches, the organization. I'm not talking about them. I'm purely talking about fandom. Fandom. New York fandom and Philadelphia fandom. There are big-time fans in those cities. I'm not talking about the players. Because you know why? Because players are recycled this day and age anyway. There's no homegrown players anymore. You're lucky your boy Judge signed, or I would have been all over him. Players don't stay anymore. I hope Alonso's going to stay in New York, but they don't stay around. So it's really not the players anymore. So what it has to be, the fans have to pick up the slack. And the fans have to continue to be fans. So you know what, though? I don't care if the players said anything about the colors, because they don't care either. It's the fans that I'm talking about.
You know, Aaron Judge, if he would have left the Yankees, that would have I would have had an hour on that alone, hour and a half. Thank God, Aaron, you stayed. My voice couldn't handle it that long.
Yeah, no, I told you I'm happy he stayed, man. I'm happy Aaron Judge stayed. It's good for New York. It really is.
No, that is. Yep, exactly. And I hope to see the Yankee colors on the Empire State Building.
Yo, Philly fans threw snowballs at Santa Claus, dude. They threw snowballs at Santa Claus. How about this? Mr. Nice Gesture? How about listen to this, okay? What is this? Do you know who Chief Z is? We're going to do who Chief, what was it? Yeah, do you know who Chief Z is? Chief Z was the mascot for the Washington Redskins back in the 1970s, okay? He would show up to the games and he'd cheer for their team. Do you know what the Philadelphia Eagle fans did to him in 1978? They literally taunted and yelled at him the entire game and decided to, when he left the stadium, to beat the shit out of him and break his leg. I'm sorry, Shannon. I see you watching and I cursed and I apologize. But, oh no, that's not Shannon. I thought that was my wife, Shannon. It's my cousin, Shannon. But anyway, and I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, okay. Guy goes to the hospital. He's in the hospital for weeks and weeks. He gets out. He's got a broken leg. He's in a wheelchair. You know what? Like a bonehead, we all know he shouldn't have done this. But hey, Chief Z decides to go next year to another game. You know what the Philadelphia fans did to him? He rolled in on a wheelchair. Some big fat woman got a beer and spit on him and threw a beer in his face. That's what this guy gets from the Philadelphia Eagles fans. So when I say that you're missing the point about the players, it's the fans, dude. This is the kind of shit that these guys do. Chief Z!
And I just want it for the cities, though. I didn't think of the fans or anything like that. But for the cities, sometimes the fans take it up a notch and stuff. And don't get me wrong, New York fans aren't angels, though, Rich, right?
What's that?
You see New York fans go crazy too sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yankee games.
I am 100% not sticking up for New York fans because we are. No, the New York fans are rabid as well.
And then, Rich, you see Yankee fans fighting Yankee fans and Met fans fighting Met fans. They fight their own fans. And it's crazy to watch. There's a website on that where you can watch fights at different games and stuff like that. It's just so bizarre how these fans just for the same teams fight each other. It's a crazy world we live in, Rich.
Oh, wait, what about this? I'm just I got one more note I want to point out about these Philadelphia Eagles. What about Doug Peterson? What Doug Peterson did to the Giants? Come on, man. Jalen Hurts, you know what? Let's put the third string quarterback in. Let's see what he's got. Oh, he lost to the Redskins, and the Redskins made the playoffs, and the Giants didn't? Darn. And we went on to win the Super Bowl. Oh, no, they didn't win the Super Bowl that year, did they? I don't know. They went on to do something that year. Come on, man. They did. That's right. That's the year they won the Super Bowl. Come on.
I'm not going to change the subject, but I'm sure the 49ers wish they had a third string quarterback this past weekend.
Oh my God. You know what? You want to get? Let's get into that because I'm sick and tired of yelling at the computer and listening to you say whatever. I'm tired of arguing about this. Let's get back to being friends.
Rich, I was all fired up, but my voice never rose above the. I'm pretty relaxed tonight. I had some good Chinese food. I don't know if there was CBD in that Chinese food or not, but it was pretty good actually.
Oh, I hope so. There's going to be something more than CBD after I'm done here. All right. So you just brought up a great point about the games last week. Now, I think last week's games pretty much came down to I think there were two completely different games if you ask me. Now, I'm gonna read something to you about why I think that the 49ers lost, and tell me what you think about these stats here. Some stats that that you wouldn't really just look at normally. You got the Brock Purdy tore his UCL. He was 4 for 4 with 23 yards, and he was out. But that's not the stuff I was looking at. Through the entire game, the Eagles had 25 first downs. The 49ers had 11. San Francisco had 11 penalties for almost 100 yards, 3 fumbles. The Eagles were 4 for 4 on fourth down. Time of possession, almost 38 minutes to 21 minutes. Now, that stuff right there is what wins football games. I don't really care what football team you are, but with all those stats right there on top of everything else, the Niners had no shot, dude.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that Purdy got knocked out of the game. I think that really determined the game flow and stuff for the Eagles offense and the 49ers who couldn't even compete and stuff like that. Losing Purdy and then the guy Josh Johnson comes in who's been around. I think he's played for every NFL team.
I know.
And then he gets hurt.
I know.
And then what happens? Purdy has to come back and he can't even throw the ball. They're handing the ball off, and the Eagles are anticipating a run on every play.
No, let me just stop you for a second now. Like, what do you think? What's Shanahan doing there, dude? What's Shanahan doing? I understand, look, you want to win a game, but the kid tore his UCL. He might not play for over a year now, this kid, because he put him back into that football game.
Yeah, there was an old rule in the NFL, and I think 1991 it stopped or it's whatever. But every team had an emergency quarterback, a third string quarterback, and he could only come in if the first 2 quarterbacks got hurt. And the first 2 quarterbacks could not come back into the game. It would have to be the third quarterback the rest of the way. But that changed now. But what happens is these teams like to get cute rich now. They could have the extra quarterback on the roster roster. They had a roster for 46 player, but some teams like to do like a kicker. They have a kicker who kicks field goals. They have a kicker that kicks off, or they might have an extra special teams guy, a guy that handles kickoffs better than punts, or vice versa. So these teams get a little cute. So I think it bit the 49ers in the butt basically because not having that third quarterback. I mean, some people are saying, well, it doesn't matter. I said, sure it matters because a third quarterback is still better than having Christian McCaffrey be your quarterback, right, Rich?
Oh, you're damn right, yeah. And Chris McCaffrey basically did everything except play quarterback the other day. He did everything he could to win that football game.
No, I mean, if the 49ers would have won that football game, I mean, that would have been like Kellen Winslow in the Chargers-Dolphins playoff game many years ago, where he simply dominated that game. And all I remember is him coming off the field in pure exhaustion. They had to get him IV and everything like that, but he basically won that game. But yeah, McCaffrey would have been a Superman. But like I said, what do you think?
Up, Kev?
Do you think the team should carry a third quarterback, especially in the playoffs? You would think
They should definitely. Well, obviously the 49ers are definitely an example of that. They should have definitely carried a third quarterback because this kid Purdy he's going to be out for a year now. And look, like I said, the kid was 4 for 4 for 23 yards, and then he gets hurt. Now, again, Kyle Shanahan, obviously, for what you said, I guess he's got to put him in. I don't know, but what's going on? Like with some of these quarterbacks, if you go back to what happened with Tua with the Dolphins, with all those concussions, like. I don't know if it's I don't know what's going on. Like why maybe the thirst to win, or maybe it's the quarterback themselves saying put me in. I don't know, but I don't know. I think that might have been that's because this kid he might have he was on his way to having a pretty decent. He might have actually won that football game. You know what I mean? Because he was gelling with that offense, man. And then Josh Johnson comes in. Didn't Josh Johnson play for the Buccaneers at one point?
Rich, he played for the Jets too.
No, I know that. I'm saying I was going to go down the list.
Yeah, he started his career with the Buccaneers. He was the backup to Josh Freeman. Remember Josh Freeman, quarterback back then? But Josh Johnson. I mean, I remember having his football card too, so I don't know how I got it, but yeah, it's like Buccaneers, and he's had some resume. He's played in the Arena Football League, the European Football League, the Canadian Football League, the Australian Football League, the Antarctic Football League, the Mexican Football League. I don't think he owns a house, Rich. I hope he rents. You know
what's funny about guys like that though? If you're not going to be like a star quarterback and like win a Super Bowl, it's got to be backup quarterback or third string quarterback, and with a decent arm, making a decent salary. It's got to be a freaking cool job, dude. Making $1.5 million a year, just traveling around with the team. Maybe you'll get a chance to throw the ball, or maybe you won't.
Yeah, look at Gardner Minshew on the Eagles, right? He played with Jacksonville, now he's with the Eagles and stuff. And he plays once a year. He plays like week 16, week 17 when the team's already in the playoffs, and flies around and makes the nice salary and stuff to hold the clipboard. That's a great job to have, right?
Hell yes, yeah. We say backup quarterbacks is a good job to have. I don't know, bullpen catcher, like what's like.
Yeah, the Yankees. It was on LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago. The Yankees were looking for a bullpen catcher. They had a job ad. You had to send your resume in. That would have been a good job, right?
Yeah. Say Ben. Ben was a pretty good catcher. They sign him up. Yo, remember?
Yeah, but he'd have to wear the pinstripes, the wrong pinstripes, right?
Yeah, I know. You know what was pretty weird about this game too, Eric? Did you see the beginning of the game when there was a little bit of a scuffle on the side there, and Nick Bosa getting knocked over on the sideline? I think he got hurt, man. I think he got hurt when he got rolled over, and he wasn't the same through the whole game after that.
Yeah, there's something about Bosa, and another thing.
Steve, you're right, dude. He is lucky that's the only injury.
Yeah. One thing that caught my eye too, Rich, is Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know if you saw him on the sideline. He was in street clothes, and he was, like, smiling. His team's down, 20, 21 points plus, and he's there smiling and joking around. So he's definitely going to see an exit out of San Francisco, I would think, right?
And so is we could go. I'm going to go talk about Derek Carr in a couple of minutes. Though, you see what Derek Carr said last night?
I didn't see. No,
I guess he had a really good showing at the skills competition or something, and the announcer said something to him, and his response was, "I guess that's why they're trading me."
Oh, is that Pro Bowl thing that's going on in Las Vegas this weekend, Rich, with all these skill competitions? Is that what's going on?
Yeah. That's that's better than a stupid Pro Bowl. You know what I mean? Who wants to see these guys running around, hitting each other like with a bag of feathers? They shouldn't be hitting each other hard in the Pro Bowl. They shouldn't be getting themselves hurt just for a showing. You know what I mean? Just to catch a football. I think the Pro Bowl is dumb. Because it's too much on the line. You know what I mean? If these guys get hit really hard, all the money, and it's just I think the Pro Bowl is dumb.
The Pro Bowl's always been stupid. I don't think, but people bet on it and stuff. So
No.
I really know nothing to it and stuff. Like
You know what,
that.
Eric? You know what, though, Eric? Let me ask you a question, though, in all honesty. Like, the Pro Bowl. I think the Pro Bowl was good in the 80s. Now, the only reason why I'm going to say that is I'm not saying the game was good. I'm talking about the whole fact is like, listen, let's say 1985. I'm 13 years old. You don't see, you don't see a lot, I never get to see Dan Fouts play, or I never get to see, some of these guys play. And, when you come to the Pro Bowl, you turn on ABC, Wide World of Sports, and there's Joe Theismann and Dan Fouts and, all these guys that you don't normally get to see on TV because, obviously stuff's not syndicated back then. So, you get, same with the All-Star game in baseball. It's like, wow, you get to see a bunch of these guys that being in New York, you don't normally get to see unless the team comes to your neighborhood. But a lot of these players, it's just pretty cool. Just like, I love Joe Montana. Wow, look at Joe Montana. He's playing on the Pro Bowl. You know what I mean? So I think when we were younger, maybe I think it had a little more relevance than it does today. But now you can basically stream or VPN any football game, soccer game, basketball game, any way you want in the entire country. So it really doesn't make it that special. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and remember, like a few years ago, they were still playing the Pro Bowl, and all these guys wouldn't want to go. So you were down to like your sixth quarterback. So the quarterback in the Pro Bowl wasn't even the best quarterback anymore. But yeah, back in the days, the players loved playing the Pro Bowl. Like I said, different times, different games and stuff. But I guess the players loved the trip to Hawaii, and they used to play it after the Super Bowl. So the Super Bowl players did show up in the Pro Bowl, where now they do it before the Super Bowl. So the Super Bowl guys never did show up. So it's different. But you know what? Like I said, I would watch the Pro Bowl about one quarter, 2 quarters, and usually shut off and stuff and say, hey, spring training's starting next week. Let's get on with baseball, basically.
Like it amazed me. Excuse me. It amazed me. Like, it was finally to see somebody like, like Bo Jackson on TV. Like, you only get to see him. Like, when you see guys like that, you're like, oh my god. It's like, wow, that's crazy. I don't know. That's why I thought the Pro Bowls and the All-Star games were good. But you're right, though. Nobody watches it now. And like, and even in the NBA, the skills competition is pretty cool. Did you hear what's his name? I think we're going to talk about him in a little while too. But did LeBron James make a stupid comment this week about the that people need to get involved more in the slam dunk contest? That it's boring.
I didn't see that. I'm not a fan of the slam dunk. I like the 3-point contest, Rich. You know what? The slam dunk contest is based on judging. That's why I don't like the Olympics, because when they have judges around, I mean, judges are biased most of the time and stuff. They don't really care. But the 3-point shooting contest, that's what I love to watch.
No, the point I'm making though is LeBron James wants if he wants a slam dunk contest to go to a next level, why don't you enter the slam dunk contest? Instead of telling everybody else to. Oh God.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Put your money where your mouth is, Rich. Right? That's the old saying, right?
You're still
right?
You're still playing. You're still a player in the NBA. Why don't you start the charge? Why don't you get all these players to say, you know what, let's do the slam dunk contest? I know, Kev. I can't stand him, Kev. Yeah. Well, listen, we're going to talk about him a little bit later when we do the NBA. But I think we got off a little bit of topic here. But I don't know.
So we talked.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the first game, the Eagles win over the 49ers. What about the second game? What's your reaction on that, Rich? The second game.
My reaction on that is I think that Joe Burrow tried to do too much. I think he threw 2 interceptions that were big interceptions. You know what I mean? He threw the ball over 40 times. Cincinnati's another team. They had 9 penalties, dude. Kansas City had 3 penalties for 15 yards. Kansas City had 9 penalties, dude. Mixon didn't do a damn thing. Mixon was too worried about the newspapers telling him that he's pointing a gun at his girlfriend, and whether it's true or not. So maybe that's why he didn't do anything. Joe Burrow was sacked 5 times, Eric. That's hearkening back to the beginning of the season when they couldn't give Joe Burrow a break. He got sacked 5 times, man. I don't know. I think that game was lost somewhere, like on the offensive line or something, because both teams. Listen, Pat Mahomes is the best. Pat Mahomes is the best player in football, dude.
Yep, he does wonders. The offensive line for Cincinnati, I mean, they had the same issue in Buffalo, but the problem was the snow. So it was a little slower for the defensive linemen to get off the line in that game, where this game, in nice weather, although it was cold, but no precipitation, the defensive line was able to take advantage of the depleted offensive line for Cincinnati. And, Burrow was running for his life, and they couldn't get a running game going. It seemed like they were using Samaje Perine a lot, too, and not Mixon. Mixon was, totally unheard of in this game, it seemed. But yeah, Mahomes just does wonders, Rich. And, you got Travis Kelce and stuff, and even losing Tyreek Hill, the Chiefs didn't seem to miss a beat this year. It's crazy, as it seems. But look who's going to the Super Bowl, the Chiefs, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing. When you get certain players, there's certain players out there that just makes the team better. Pat Mahomes loses probably one of the most dynamic wide receivers in football. He's like, all right, whatever, just slide somebody else in. You know why? Because I'm still going to come out there and play football. Pat Mahomes was limping that entire game, dude. Limping. Do you see some of the, I don't know how closely you watch him. Some of the stuff that he does amazes me. Do you see some of the positions that he puts his body in to throw the football, to take pressure off a pain that he has in his knee? Or these upright throws he was making last week just to kind of take the pressure off what's going on in his lower half? I mean, he's amazing, man. And he threw for, what did he throw for? 326 yards, 2 TDs, and he was hurt, man. Kelce had his 78 yards. I mean, the guy, he's just one of those guys. And I understand that, he still has Kelce, and Kelce's the best tight end of football. I do understand that. But I don't know, man. Plug somebody else in there and let's go. That's the kind of guy that Patrick Mahomes is. And this is gonna be a good game, but I don't know. Pat Mahomes in Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts. I don't know. I think we'll give our picks next week, but it's going to be hard for me to bet against Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
That's what people said a couple of years ago against Brady, right?
Very true.
But yeah, no, I just love the way he does it. Some of these plays, Rich, are like playground plays where he'll be getting sacked and all of a sudden he just flips the ball and there's a receiver right there. It's crazy, how he does that. But yeah, I mean, kind of the best player in football, no doubt about it. I mean, nobody, the Chiefs are there every year, but I guess there's a reason why the Chiefs are there every year for Mahomes. But I like this kid from Rutgers, Isaiah Pacheco.
Yes.
7th round draft pick from Jersey. Kid, unfortunately, he had his brother and sister killed within a year of each other when he was growing up, but went on to Rutgers and graduated and made the Chiefs, and he's doing pretty good this year. Jerick McKinnon was a no-show last week. He's been a no-show the past couple of weeks. Not in fantasy football towards the end. McKinnon was the star, but it seems like if the Chiefs get a running game going and keep Hurts off the field, I don't know. It's going to be a time possession game. I guess the team with the most time wins, but like I said, we'll make our predictions next week. But yeah, I think the 2 number 1 seed teams, there's a reason why these two teams are number 1 seeds. I mean, people complain the Eagles had an easy schedule, but like we said in the beginning of the season, we thought the AFC West would be much stronger too, and the AFC West turned into a dog division basically. So the Chiefs had a pretty easy route to the Super Bowl, but it's going to be fun to watch. And like I said, we'll give our picks next week, and yeah. So we'll finish off today's show with some other topics.
It's
now.
good.
Other sports.
It's going to be
what do you think?
it's going to be a good Super Bowl in the fact that I think it's different in the past because Pat Mahomes is going to have to deal with an insane pass rush, dude. I mean, they are going to be hunting him down all day, and he's going to have to use his legs, and he's going to because he can. But with that, with that gimpy leg he's got, man, and the Eagles, rightfully so, I'd be doing it too. They're going to be hemming and hawing, smacking at his knee. They're going to be doing that. Because when you got the best player on the planet, if he's not hurt, he's going to kill you. And that Philadelphia pass rush they're going to be relentless. They're going to be chasing him down all day. I mean, I think it's going to be, I think they got 80 sacks, Kev. I think the only team to ever do that was the 84-85 Bears. I think those are the only 2 teams in the history to have 80 sacks. Because they had Kevin put 70 plus. I just heard that stat today. That's insane, dude. 80 sacks, man.
Yep, crazy. Quarterbacks running for their lives. The way for Mahomes to get off that, maybe little dump off passes to McKinnon, Pacheco, maybe they'll do that. He does have some weapons on offense. Marcus Scantling. They got the guy Juju from the Schuster from the Steelers.
Yep.
But yeah, it should be really fun to watch, Rich. I don't know if it's gonna be a high scoring game, low scoring game, but we'll touch on it next week.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't. You know, I'm most likely going to go with my boy Mahomes, but I don't know where to go. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna actually. You're right. It's gonna be a good football game. Definitely.
Definitely, we need that. We need a good football game to end the pretty good season on, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at this thing here. I'm looking at this list here, Eric. There is a lot of teams looking for quarterbacks this year, dude. A lot of teams.
A lot of teams, including our teams that we root for, Rich. Right?
Yeah. Now, I was listening to Sports Talk Radio today, and let's get into this Aaron Rodgers thing a little bit because I'm being a big Jet fan. God, I would love if you're a Jet fan and you don't want Aaron Rodgers to be your quarterback, you need to have your head examined. Because right now, I think they should cut all three of their quarterbacks and just get Aaron Rodgers and maybe draft somebody in like the third or fourth round. You know, maybe you get somebody. But the only thing that worries me about this Aaron Rodgers thing is, listen to this now. Derek Carr is obviously getting cut, right? So Derek Carr is getting cut. Now, Derek Carr is going to get cut on February 15th, right around there, right? He's got to get cut by then. You know, that's when, So, now, I don't know. Now, I don't want Aaron Rodgers to sit here and, and play and start flirting with the Jets for, till opening day next year and then go to Vegas. Now, are they going to miss an opportunity by not trying to sign Derek Carr or at least putting a full court press on Aaron Rodgers to find out what he's doing? Because Derek Carr is not done, man, and he is a very more than serviceable quarterback. If you put two good wide receivers and an offensive line and a running game around him, I mean, I don't know. In a new position, Nathaniel Hackett, I don't know, man. I don't know. Do you offer Derek Carr a contract and not trust Aaron Rodgers' ayahuasca ass? You know what I mean? I don't know.
I think Derek Carr is probably the way to go. Here's some things on Aaron Rodgers. Everyone was making that him and Nathaniel Hackett are like the best buds and stuff. So if that was the case, why didn't Rodgers go to Denver last year when Hackett got the job in Denver, right?
The only reason they're saying that, Eric, is he's got two MVPs with him. That's really the only reason why they're saying it. He's got the two MVPs that he won, and Hackett was the offensive coordinator.
So why didn't he go to Denver?
I know. I'm just letting you know why I think people are saying that.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you know what, though, Rich? He hasn't won a Super Bowl, or haven't been to the Super Bowl in 12 years. Is two number one draft picks worth it, Rich, to the Jets to get Aaron Rodgers?
Yes, 100%, 1,000% yes. Because I was looking at the people coming out. Listen, there's some good defensive players and offensive players, but when was the last time you could think of an NFL team that hit on three of their first-round draft picks in one season? Now, I'm not saying that we should press them and get better ones, but I think that we got really, really lucky in the draft last year with four of our players. Now, if right now we have a number 13 pick. Now, I don't know what kind of player we're going to get at the 13th pick. I mean, listen, I would even trade a lot of our picks. I want to get an offensive lineman. I want to get an offensive lineman from Kansas City or Cleveland. Those two guys, they're on the. They're going to be free agents. But yes, Eric, I think he's worth 2 first-round draft picks because he's that good, and he's going to make that much of a difference on a football team with young talent that's looking for guidance. You're going to tell me that if you tell Garrett Wilson that Aaron Rodgers is coming to your football team, you are not going to spend double the time you normally spend in the gym? Not that you shouldn't already, but listen, he had Zach Wilson throwing him the football. Zach Wilson, which you've heard, I'm a Jet fan. I want him so far away from the football team as possible. I don't even want him staying and learning under Aaron Rodgers. So, yeah, bro, it's definitely worth two first-round draft picks to me.
Research on Rodgers, Rich, and I saw that his quarterback rating has been down 30 points since 2020. Also, with the loss of mobility, I mean, this isn't quite like Brady going to Tampa 3 years ago. I think Brady was in much better shape at 42 years old than Aaron Rodgers is right now. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. But and here's what I thought. I thought Garoppolo would be at a better signing for the Jets. He'd come cheaper. He's only 31 years old, and Robert Saleh. He's a big fan of Jimmy G from coaching him out in the San Francisco Bay Area. But he's has 4 postseason wins. He played in 2 NFC Championship games. He was an overthrow away from winning the Super Bowl against Mahomes. Basically, he's won 70% of his starts, and he played under Belichick too. So I mean, he's a pretty good quarterback. Below too, and
but
a hell of a lot younger than Rodgers.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. That's the thing, Eric. Let's get Jimmy G for a second. Jimmy G is Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not like I don't. Is he a champion? Is he a Is he in the middle of the pack quarterback? Can you name 15 quarterbacks that are better than him? I don't know. Jimmy G. I think he's fragile. First off, it's the second time he's hurt. Right? Is he going to get hurt? I don't think Jimmy G. I think Derek Carr brings the Jets further than Garoppolo does because I think something's going to happen to Garoppolo. I don't see what everybody sees in him because he played under Belichick. I don't know.
Also, he was tutored under with Brady. He was Brady's backup too. So that's a pretty good combination, Belichick Brady, to have on your resume that you were under their tutelage basically.
You think Daniel Jones goes somewhere else?
Rich, I was thinking about Jones and Barkley. Can they afford both guys?
I don't know. That's the point I'm making. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think Daniel Jones is going to... You know what stinks? It stinks. I think that Daniel Jones is probably going to make it a little bit easier to sign than Saquon Barkley. Just because, just watching Daniel Jones out on the football field, he did a really, really good job for the Giants football team this year. And he was that guy that just went out and just said, yes, coach. You know what I mean? So... I don't think he's going to go anywhere because I think that he's got himself, a nice cushy position over there with the Giants. And I don't think the Giants, are going to be looking for another quarterback anytime soon. So I don't think he goes anywhere. But, Saquon Barkley's, he might. But I don't think he goes anywhere. But if the right team, because again, like I said before, there's a lot of teams that are looking for quarterbacks. And maybe, I don't know, does somebody take a shot on Daniel Jones? And here's another guy who's very interesting to me. And again, I'm not saying I want him. But I heard it today, and it was kind of funny. Why not give Geno Smith another shot over with the Jets?
Wow, that'd be interesting signing if they did that, right? He's a free agent as well, Geno Smith, right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
You know what? No, you know why? Let me see Russell Wilson have a good season this year. You know why? Because I think Geno Smith got Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson spent his entire career with Mr. Pete Carroll. He was a great top-level quarterback. Leaves Seattle, and he just becomes Ciara's husband. You know what I mean? Now it's like, maybe it's the same. Maybe it's the same with Geno Smith. Geno Smith was kind of like a journeyman now. He's been around. He never had the big game. He never had a good season. All of a sudden, bang, he goes to Seattle. He's with Pete Carroll. He played great this year. I mean, some guys who think that just like the system just works for certain guys certain ways.
What do you think the Sean Payton system's going to be with Russell Wilson this year? I think Wilson's going to have a much better year this year than he had last year.
I think,
under Hackett. I mean, it was a lost season for Wilson last year.
Yeah, I think you know what? I think you're right. I think he is gonna have a good year this year with the right coach. Like I said, with the right coach. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's guys like your boy, like our boy Brady. Who obviously could just go anywhere. You know what I mean? Or there's guys who just like it doesn't matter where they go, they're just gonna win. But there's other guys that. I don't know. Like, maybe they're a product of their system,
Yeah, and also, Rich, you have Lamar Jackson out there, too. He's going to be a free agent as well. What do you think about the Jets? I mean, the Jets can go that way, too, with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson would be great, too. I mean, yeah, he's another. Where is he going to go? Like, is he gonna? Are the Ravens gonna sign him? Last minute. Like, I don't know. Are they gonna give him that $300 million contract? And what is going on with this whining little guy over in Arizona? You are an amazing, athletically gifted quarterback. Why are you complaining? Nobody wants to go there because of him.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's why Cliff Kingsbury left the country, basically, the coach.
Yeah.
So, he left too. But, Rich, I was just jotting down some notes on the AFC quarterbacks. Listen to this list I have. You got Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, and now Houston and Indianapolis are going to get the two studs coming out of college. Boy, the AFC is going to have some pretty good quarterbacks going forward, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the AFC is the place.
All the guys I just mentioned, Rich, are under 27 years old. All the guys I mentioned.
It is, it's going to make for a lot. Like, it's going to make for a lot of entertaining football. Like, who's going to step up and be the next Brady and Manning combo? Like, you're going at it all the time, or the next, the two quarterbacks going at it head to head. Is it going to be Mahomes, and is it going to be who's it going to be? Allen going at it, or Burrow and Mahomes, because Mahomes isn't going anywhere, dude.
Well, don't forget Trevor Lawrence, Rich. He showed a lot
Oh
of
my
maturity this
God,
year.
he did.
And
Yes, he did.
even though Justin Herbert looked lost, I mean, they have that new offensive coordinator in San Diego, or Los Angeles they just signed. So he might have a promising year next year. Herbert might pick it up a little bit. So, yeah, the AFC is quarterback. It looks like it's a factory of quarterbacks in the AFC right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to look at, going back to the Rodgers thing for a minute too, it's obviously going to be a trade. The Jets have the number 13 pick. Now, if you look at the draft and the way it's constructed this year, you got the Bears have Justin Fields. They're not trading with them. And obviously, he's not going to go to the Bears. Houston, I think they're doing something. Arizona's got a quarterback. Indy's going to have a quarterback. The Rams, Vegas has the number 7 pick. That's the only one I might be worried about. And Carolina's got the number 8 pick. Those are 2 teams that might kind of swoop in. But Aaron Rodgers isn't going to want to go to those places. So, I don't know, dude.
No. Yeah, and you said before he's not going to the NFC, right? If it were a trade, he'd have to go to the AFC, basically.
Yeah, it's a trade. They're not going to trade him into the. They're not going to trade him, especially same division. No way. No way.
I was thinking maybe Tampa Bay would be a good destination for Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, stop! You've had your Super Bowls and your whatever. I don't know what they're gonna. I don't know what your team is gonna do though, man. They do got to do something. I mean, their backup. Who's their backup?
Well, their backup, Blaine Gabbert, is a free agent as well. So Tampa Bay only has one signed quarterback right now, and it's Kyle Trask, who hasn't played it down in the NFL. He was from Florida a couple of years ago. They drafted him. So, yeah, the Buccaneers, I don't know what they're going to do right now, but you know what? I wouldn't be too surprised if Jimmy Garoppolo lands in Tampa. I mean, they definitely have to go the veteran route and try to think. But even that team might have to rebuild from the bottom up. Their cap space is not that great. I mean, Brady saves some cap space now by retiring and stuff. But, they still have a long way to go from their Super Bowl year. We saw a lot of them this year. But you know what, though, Rich? In that division where you all you have to do is go 8-9 to win and make the playoffs,
You never know.
God only knows. Do you really have to rebuild that much?
Yeah, I know. I think New Orleans is going to get better next year. I think that Taysom Hill kid. I don't know what he's going to do for that football team, but he's going to do something really good for that football team.
I don't know. With Winston, too. I don't know. Winston, who's the quarterback over there? They have the quarterback issues, too. But you know what New Orleans did, Rich? They did that trade. Well, it wasn't a trade. Sean Payton, they had to give compensation down to New Orleans. So New Orleans didn't have a number 1 pick, so they got one in the trade. They got a number 2 pick as well for next year. So I think New Orleans gets the A+ right now in the offseason for what they did because they were not a number 1, so they can go places with that number 1. I think it's Denver had a pretty bad season, so it's like a top 10 pick maybe, I think, for the Saints. Not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad. It's good to see a lot of different teams. Well, obviously not different teams, but different teams getting good quarterbacks and being competitive. It just makes sports that much more fun to watch when other teams are when not one team is just dominating the sport. You know what I mean? Right? The Patriots did for so many years.
On the Tom Brady story this week, he retired. Do you think it's real now? Do you think it's time to go? I think yes. I think this is finally the end of the road for Tom Brady. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's 46. I mean, I heard somebody say something stupid the other day that the day he announced his retirement is the day that dumb movie came out. So is it going to be like a ploy to push his movie? But no, I don't think so. Listen, let's go to the human element too about Tom Brady. It's listen, Tom Brady is Tom Brady. He's multi-millionaire, a handsome guy. He's got he's got kids. But listen, the guy just got divorced. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that really did take a toll on him. I don't really know. But he's 46. You know what I mean? Saints get Rodgers.
Here too. He could even hook up with some of the receivers and stuff like that. We saw Mike Evans. He overthrew him a lot.
Yeah.
They really didn't have a chemistry until that Panthers game late in the season. But, even in the playoff game, he didn't want to get hit, Rich. That's the main thing. And, Brady went through career basically being injury-free. He had that one injury in the first game of the season. It was the first play. But really, did Brady ever get a concussion in his career that you heard of, right?
No,
I never heard of him getting hurt, right?
No, never. Yeah, he was always... they said they played a clip of Tom Brady's dad, I guess before he was drafted, and they asked Tom Brady's dad, your son Tom, he's gonna be in the draft, he's gonna be a professional football player, you think he's gonna get drafted, and his father said, my Tommy's gonna go to the NFL, and maybe he'll play a year or two and stuff like that, but we'll be lucky if he gets to see a couple of games next year, and then maybe he'll go be working on Wall Street or something. He's got a degree, It's funny, listen to his dad say that now, and then, it's holy shit, your son basically went from, you think he might do something in the NFL. I'm very proud of him anyway, too, the greatest quarterback of all time.
Well, wasn't it thanks to Mo Lewis knocking Bledsoe out of the game, and then Brady came in? Is that what happened? If I recall, that's
it's Mo Lewis. Mo Lewis. That was a clean hit, man. That was a clean hit. Drew Bledsoe off the field. Super Bowl champion Tom Brady on.
Too funny. You know, Tom Brady was a baseball player too, Rich. Pretty good baseball player at that.
Yeah, I know he was. You what do you call it? You put something pretty interesting up on Facebook that sparked my interest. You said that it says that Tom Brady was the last drafted player to retire from the Montreal Expos. I didn't know the Montreal Expos drafted him.
Yeah, the Expos drafted him. You know, and the Expos left Montreal in 2003. So that's 20 years ago. So yeah, Tom Brady was the last athlete currently playing that was drafted by the Montreal Expos. So finally, you could say rest in peace, Montreal Expos. Sad to say, I kind of like watching the Montreal Expos play in the day. They were a fun bunch to watch up there in Canada.
Eric, they were, obviously, from 1969 to 2004. Listen to this list of players: Tim Raines, Andre Dawson, Gary Carter, Vlad Guerrero, Pedro Martinez, Larry Walker, Rusty Stahl, Moises Alou, Andres Garalaga, Chris Floyd, blah blah blah, and it goes on and on and on. GMs also: Jim Fanning, Dave Dombrowski, Dan Duquette, Omar Minaya, Denny Martinez threw a perfect game for the team. And it's like there's a lot of it's like I don't understand. And I was looking at this too. It's like when they first started. Who was their first GM? Whoever their first GM was, he was there till 1977, but then he left. After that, you had guys come in, kind of fly-by-night guys. You know what I mean? It's like 2 years here, 3 years there. And then finally, it's just, the team just folded. But all those players that came, and it's not like Guerrero played there 8 years. Gary Carter played there 8 years. Dawson played there almost his whole career and averaged 20 home runs and 20 stolen bases for his whole career. That's insane, dude. Pedro Martinez won his first Cy Young there.
Yeah, look at 1994, Rich. They were right on the collision course with the Yankees to make the World Series. And Buck Showalter was the manager of the Yankees then. They were on the collision course. They had the best records in baseball, and then the strike happened and stuff. But yeah, a lot of good players came out of Montreal. You had pitchers too: Steve Rogers, Charlie Lau, Pedro Martinez, like we said, John Wetland. Closer, they had some really good players. 1981, they made the playoffs, and they lost in the league championship series to the Dodgers when Rick Monday hit that home run on. It was a Monday afternoon Olympic Stadium, known as Blue Monday. They really, they really didn't have the capital to survive in Montreal. And I always give the story where my lovely wife and I took a trip in 1982 in April to Montreal. We got there, and we were going to the game, and we asked the woman for directions, and she turned our back on us because we were speaking English, but we managed to find the stadium. We pulled in. There was no traffic. There was 5,000 people there on a Saturday afternoon. It was the Expos against the Cardinals. You walked into this place. It was dark. It looked like you were in a funeral home. It looked like it was really depressing place to watch a baseball game. They put cheese on French fries, what they call poutine. I don't know what it was called, but the announcers are calling the players up in French. It was really weird that day, but I was happy to see it because it was part of my childhood watching the Montreal Expos play.
Yeah.
I kind of like those uniforms, the baby blues, right?
Yeah.
And before the Toronto Blue Jays, there was the Montreal Expos, and a lot of history in Montreal. And I really hope they get a baseball team again one day. It will be nice. And they were talking about it, and they were talking about getting not a dome stadium either, a kind of setting like they have in Minnesota with the Twins, where they were playing an outdoor stadium. I mean, April games might be a little cold and stuff, but, Minnesota gets through it and stuff. So, hopefully they get another team up there. But, yeah, Tom Brady, imagine if he played baseball, Rich. I wonder if he would still be playing baseball at the age of 46, right?
Well, that's the thing. His body type is definitely a baseball player. He's not a football player. He's definitely a lanky baseball player. So, I don't know. He backed up Drew Henson, right, at Michigan?
Yeah, another Yankee. He was drafted by the Yankees, Drew Henson. Never really had a big baseball career and played in the NFL. But, he backed up Drew Henson, believe it or not, at Michigan. That's a good quarterback tandem to have, a good 1-2, right?
Yeah. That's, I understand why do you think that Montreal folded and Toronto is still going strong? I guess, maybe just different fan bases. Different parts of the country. I don't know. Maybe it's kind of nobody watches. What?
Yeah, Montreal had a good fan base, Rich. The problem with Montreal was the strike really tore them apart. They had
Yeah.
to trade all their players and stuff. That was what it was. But if you put a team in Montreal today, I think they would do pretty good, actually. Actually, better than probably Tampa would do. What they're doing right now. I mean, Tampa Stadium only seats 25,000 people, and they rarely sell out. Maybe for the Yankee games and stuff, but it's really a depressing situation. I think my road trip's going to take me to Tampa this year, to see a Rays game and stuff. So we haven't really put the nail in the coffin on the trip yet, but I'm hoping to Atlanta, Tampa, and Miami this year as part of our baseball tour, Ben and I.
Yeah, Miami's nice. We went to a Met Miami game 2 years ago. Miami's nice. You know, it's nice. You sit inside, air conditioned stadium. It's pretty nice. So
Yeah, I wish they just. Yeah, I wish they did the domes up here, Rich, real fast. I wish City Field and Yankee Stadium had roofs on them. But it would be good, but not going to happen anytime soon.
yeah, you know, it would be nice for a month, and then it's like, then it's baseball weather. You know what I mean? It would be nice for a month, but I don't know. I kind of like the fact that they're outside.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's always good being outside and stuff. Yep, I agree.
So what did you say the other day? What I had to put? So the Hall of almost great struck again, or the Hall of mediocrity struck again the other day.
Well, it had to be for 1 year, Rich, because next year we got Beltray, and then the following year we got Ichiro going in. But yeah, your reactions on this, the Hall of mediocrity, right, Rich?
Yeah, man. And look, I am not taking away from anything from Scott Rowland as a baseball player. I'm really not. The guy was a phenomenal baseball player. But you're getting into territory now every year where you're putting people in just to put people in. That's what I think anyway. I mean, I just looked, I just looked up a random guy. I picked up a rookie from the same year. Now you got a guy named Bobby Abreu. Bobby Abreu, I think he's been on the list, right? I don't know if he still is or he has been on the list, but he is not in the Hall of Fame. Now, you could go over his stats or whatever. Let's just say basically he said his stats are better, if not a lot better, in a lot of categories. So what makes Scott Rowland a Hall of Famer and what makes Bobby Abreu not a Hall of Famer?
Very easy, Rich. The nerds.
Right.
And what I say by the nerds is the nerds are running the election now.
Yeah.
It's all about analytics now. It's all about WAR. Scott Rowland's WAR was 70.1, which fits right into the Hall of Fame criteria. 39 Hall of Famers, not counting the pitchers or the Veterans Committee guys elected since 2000, made the Hall of Fame, and the average of those guys is 73.4. So Rowland ranks 20th amongst those guys, and he fits right in where the average is. So you know what, Rich? You could talk about Mattingly and Hernandez making the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Why didn't they? And I'll tell you why. Because when Mattingly and Hernandez were getting elected through their years of eligibility, that was the steroid era. The guys' stats were padded in that era. That era left. I mean, I'm hoping Hernandez and Mattingly do get in one day with these veteran committee votes, whatever. But you know what, though? It's a whole different voting now, Rich. They're all these nerds on analytics now, so it doesn't matter. Rowland's gold gloves, kind of defensive category, increases WAR, and that puts him in the Hall of Fame, basically. So, yeah, you might say mediocrity, but when the numbers add up and stuff, it's not. So Rowland ranks 9th best at his position, which is third base out of all the. So you want to hear the number 9 best players at their positions? You got Joe Mauer. He's a catcher. He's not in the Hall of Fame yet, but he probably will be eventually. The 9th best first baseman is Willie McCovey. The 9th best second baseman is Roberto Alomar. The 9th best shortstop is Pee Wee Reese. The 9th best left fielder is Willie Stargell, Richie Ashburn in center field, and Tony Gwynn in right field. So those are the 9 best players at their position, and Scott Rowland's at third base. So you look at all these things, all these factors, Rich. Scott Rowland was a Nolan Arenado of his generation, basically. And we spoke about Nolan Arenado this year on his third base. He's the vacuum cleaner at third base. So do I think Rowland should make the Hall of Fame? Yeah, he's a nice guy. And he was a good ball player. But you know what, though? All these factors, Rich, that's what makes the Hall of Fame nowadays. Is it right? Probably not. But you know what? These nerds aren't going away, and we know that baseball's based on analytics now. It's all these guys who never played an ounce of baseball in their lives, but they put the numbers together, and yes, Scott Rowland becomes a Hall of Famer. That's my thoughts about it, Rich.
So why now? Why is the Hall of Fame? I say when is it going to become like an honor? It is an honor. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but Scott Rowland is not as good as Babe Ruth. Scott Rowland is not as good as Sandy Koufax. I'm talking about baseball players. Sandy Koufax.
Rich, I'll put it for next year. Scott Rowland's not better than Adrian Beltre. Adrian Beltre is going to walk into the Hall of Fame next year.
Yes. Adrian Beltre was a very good player. Yes, he was. And he does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, without a doubt. He does.
Of course.
But that's what I mean, though, Eric. It's just like, when you get the whole thing, is like, do we got to put somebody in? No. I don't know. No. We don't put anybody in this year. Next year, Ichiro is going to walk in as well.
2024. Yep. Mm-hmm.
He's going to walk in as well.
No doubt. Yep, exactly. I agree. And you know what? Barry Bonds, walk into the Hall of Fame one day, pal. You deserve to be there,
Yeah, but that and that's the point I'm making to end this conversation is Barry Bonds is not in the Hall of Fame, and it makes the Hall of Fame a farce. Barry Bonds is the greatest baseball player that ever lived, and he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and you know what? A-Rod's trending now, Rich, too. A-Rod, he's trending upward now, so he might make the Hall of Fame before these guys, too.
But he should. A-Rod should. I mean, look, if you look, A-Rod had some years where it was just ridiculous. And not even just with the Yankees, like with the Rangers and in Seattle. Like, he had some seasons that were just absolutely ridiculous. And those are just like average years for him in the beginning.
Yeah, he definitely. We also talk about Roger Clemens, the pitching side and stuff. What do you think? These guys, having Andy Pettitte, Rich, he deserves to be in. He was pretty good too. He wasn't that bad of a pitcher, I mean, Mussina and Jim Palmer made the Hall of Fame, and look at their records. Their records were pretty much the same, and Mussina took a long time to get in. So, the criteria changes over the generations, Rich. It all depends who's voting. Like I said, you had these old timers, the media guys, and then and then you have the analytic guys come now. So I don't know. Is it all going to be analytics from now on, Rich? I think that's the way we're trending. It's not a good way to go. I mean, because some players are getting the shaft because they don't have big wars and stuff like that, but they do have the numbers. So I really don't know what the criteria now is to be a Hall of Famer. I always thought it was 3,000 hits and 300 wins as a pitcher, but we know there's not going to be any 300-win pitchers anymore, right? So somebody's going to make a Hall of Fame out of that crop, right?
Listen, and I know I sound like a broken record, but you got to put Scott Rowland in the Hall of Fame. Why is Albert Bell not in the Hall of Fame? Why? Why is he not in the Hall of Fame? Guys like him. That's why it's a farce. It is, man. I don't know. There's so many players out there.
Todd Helton too, Rich. I mean, he'll make it next year probably. He's trending upward, but why does it take Todd Helton so long? Look at Todd Helton's stats. Oh, you know what they'll say, Rich? Oh, because he played in Colorado. It's so easy to play in Colorado.
I know.
It's like,
I know.
Oh my goodness, stop already. It's just one excuse after another. I think what you do think, Rich? I think these voting guys, I think they like living in the spotlight themselves. I think they love the attention and stuff. I see these guys putting their ballots on Twitter because they want to show the fans who they voted for and stuff. So I think it's about these guys too, their egos and stuff, voting and stuff for the Hall of Fame. It's just like so many facets of what makes a Hall of Famer, what doesn't. These guys think they're above the game, these writers.
I know, and it's never going to change. Or if it does change, it's not going to be for a very, very long time. Yeah, but they have way too much. I think they have way too much power. I just do.
Arson Judge should make the Hall of Fame, right?
Who?
Remember Aaron Judge?
Oh, Arson Judge, yeah. Arson Judge. He should come out with next year with an Arson Judge jersey on. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. All right, what time is it here? It's 1:30 here. What is going on with your boy and your basketball team?
Rich, I said when we spoke we're going to do a show tonight, and I saw this news report hit this afternoon. I was like, are you kidding me? I mean, how many times has this guy said he wants to get traded from the Nets? It's getting ridiculous already. And you know what? This might be the time, Rich, where we say good riddance. I don't know if the Nets can do something before Thursday, but you know what, though, Rich? If they do let him go at the end of the season, they walk away with nothing. So I think the Nets have to make every opportunity available to trade this guy before the deadline. And you know what? Where's Kyrie going to go to win? I mean, don't the Nets have a great chance to win the championship? Their odds are perfect. Durant's coming back this week or next week, so he'll be back. I mean, the Nets are in a great position right now. So why does Kyrie want to break it up? I mean, is it because they lost to the Celtics the other night by a ton of points? I mean, the Celtics, I think they beat them by 100 points. I'm just sick and tired of Kyrie Irving. The 3-year relationship he had with the Nets, it's just ridiculous. I mean, how many times can you go and say, and the Nets always say, no, we're not going to trade you, basically. So I think they have to do it this time, Rich, because, they were talking negotiations. He wants a 4-year contract. He wants all the money in the world. But he's going to go to some team, Rich, and pull the same crap. We saw James Harden do it last year. James Harden got traded. I mean, he did pull the same crap in Philadelphia. I'm surprised he doesn't want to get traded now from there. But, I think the best for Kyrie Irving to win is in Brooklyn right now, and I'm sure you'll agree with that. But if they trade him to the Lakers, do you think that makes the Lakers a winner?
No.
I mean, come on now, really? The Nets will get Westbrook back, it looks like, and the draft pick, number 1 draft pick, and maybe another player. But I think the time is now. I'm done with it. Get rid of him now. Thursday, bye-bye. He can go to the All-Star game wearing his new team's uniform, whatever. But I'm done with Kyrie Irving, Rich, because you know what? He had the thing in the beginning of the year with the mouthing off about the movie and stuff, and then he goes on this winning streak. They win 18 out of 20 games. All of a sudden, Durant gets hurt. No, he's crying again. He wants to get traded. So I just hope the Nets don't trade Durant. I've heard Durant has some trade value more than Kyrie Irving. But you know what, Rich? I'm done with him here.
What do you like? What do the Nets do here, dude? Like, in all honesty, I'm gonna beat them up a little bit, but I know that your team, I'm not. That's not the reason. I'm just. What do they like? What do they do now? Now listen, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's gonna go down in history as one of the greatest basketball players ever lived, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, great player. Yeah, I agree.
Where is his Scottie Pippen on your Nets team right now?
That's a good question. I mean, the Scottie Pippen was Kyrie Irving, but if Kyrie's not in the game, do you go with Ben Simmons? I don't know.
No.
Do you make another trade? I don't know what you do, Rich. I mean, the trade deadline, the Nets could go out and make a blockbuster trade themselves and bring in another player. You don't know what's going to happen,
Right. Right.
I mean, maybe trade, you know what? Maybe don't trade Kyrie to the Lakers. Maybe trade him to San Antonio and see how that feels. I heard there's no teams out there that he requested a trade to. So you know what? If I'm the Nets ownership, maybe I do trade him to San Antonio or a crappy team. I heard Dallas is involved now. Trade him to Dallas. Maybe he'll do great in Dallas with Doncic. Who knows?
No way. That would not. I honestly, dude, I do not think that relationship would last 1 week if he went to Dallas.
Phoenix. Phoenix is another destination for him. Maybe Phoenix might work for him.
I'm just talking Doncic. I don't think him and Doncic would get along at all.
Yeah, okay. I was talking about Kyrie, where Kyrie's going to land. Yeah. No, I don't think that will work out either. Because you know what? Wherever Kyrie goes, he's going to pull the same crap. And, he's a cancer, Rich, wherever he goes. I mean, he should just leave basketball right now. I feel sorry for the team that he goes to. It's just going to be the same crap over and over again with this guy.
Yeah, exactly. But somebody. How much of the money is the Nets responsible for if he leaves? Is the Nets got to pay him any money or no?
I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I mean, they might work a thing where the Lakers or whoever takes on the contract, but the contract ends after this year, so I'm sure the team that signs him is going to have to give him a contract right off the bat, basically, because he's not going to want to be he's not going to want to go somewhere and then have to go somewhere else. Because God forbid, he'll have to change teams again. But yeah, it's just like. I don't understand players nowadays. It's just like, pull your contract or stop bitching around. You signed the contract, it's like these guys want to rework their contracts every year. It's like, it just doesn't make any sense with these guys. And, I'm done with Kyrie. I mean, he just remember when he took the time off, Rich, last year too? He takes days off. I mean, who does that?
Too many people, too many people do that, dude.
Kyrie should go play golf. Or some other sport where you don't have to be a team player. Because when it comes to a team sport, he's definitely on the bottom of the list. I wouldn't want him as my teammate, Rich, if I was playing.
But that's the Nets. They were hanging with my Celtics. It was like I was actually worried about the Nets. Like now I'm like I'm not worried about the Nets. Bring Kevin Durant. I don't care who you bring because Tatum is just playing on another level right now. I mean, it's just the Nets are going to be an afterthought, dude. And I'm sorry to say it like that, but it's a team that was supposed to do so many great things with these 3 guys, and it was an epic. I mean, look, it was an epic failure, right? Yes, right or wrong?
Oh no, definitely failure, Rich. Because the reason why you bring in these guys is to win a championship. So you had the 3rd year, And remember last year they hardly played together, Durant, and they had James Harden too, Rich. They couldn't even do it with James Harden, Durant, and Kyrie. That's a super three, basically. Those are three potential Hall of Famers.
Right.
But the Nets are a cursed franchise. We spoke about it from the day one. I mean, Drazen Petrovic and losing to the Lakers and the Spurs and the championships back to back, and Jason Kidd and all these guys. I mean, they had so much potential, this team, but and playing in Brooklyn, they're going to always be the second-class citizens to the Knicks. The Knicks are always going to be the top team, but you thought for 1 second that they would take the spotlight in New York and be a good team and win a championship. And who knows, Rich? The stranger things have happened. They just might. You don't know. But, a lot's going to be to tell, there's a lot to tell in the next 4 or 5 days before the trade deadline on Thursday, what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think my Celtics are trading for anybody, but who as a Nets fan, okay? Now your team's in shambles, obviously, but you need somebody. You need somebody to come in there and try to pick up the pieces for for Durant to give him a little help. Is there anybody out there that's going to give you that you want to come to your team that's out there that would probably help them be relevant?
It's good players out there, but I think if they make this Irving trade. Russell Westbrook's not the answer.
No. No. Maybe 15 years ago he was the answer.
Yeah, I would go for a different player. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe bring D'Angelo Russell back. Who knows, right? I don't know. I don't think Minnesota would do something like that, Or like, you got Jordan Clarkson in Utah. He's a pretty good player. Maybe a lot of trades are made, at the deadline. A lot of players change jerseys a lot. But I really don't know the direction they're going to go. But, it's just sad, Rich. This is a team that had so much potential. 2 years ago, I went to a playoff game. They were playing Milwaukee, and that was a great series against the Bucks. But, with injuries and stuff, Harden got hurt in the first quarter of that game. It's like, there we go. So I'd say the franchise is cursed. I don't know what's going to happen. But, Kyrie, bye-bye. I'm not going to miss you.
I just wish somebody would just say, seats taken, like they said in Forrest Gump. He would just move on. You know what I mean? And I honestly don't think he would even care. If every team in the NBA just says, you know what, Kyrie, we've said enough of your garbage. We're not offering you a contract. He'll take all his money and he'll just go, make trouble somewhere else. The guy's an insanely gifted basketball player, but he's weird. He's weird.
Isn't it amazing, Rich, when you have so much talent, you got the world under your, in your hand, basically, and you screw it up, basically. It's just amazing how it happens. I mean, you're an athlete, you're gifted. Just go out and play the basketball game. You don't have to be a spokesperson or mouth off about everything. Just go play basketball. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to talk about LeBron James a little bit. These young guys, I'm just, again, you guys could hit me with, you could argue with me. You may even want to argue with me about this, but let me ask you a question. In the last 10 years, let's say 10 years, give me two guys that you probably think might have been the more dominating defensive players of the generation now, in the last 10 years maybe.
Defense played the last 10 years, Rich?
I don't want to put you on the spot. I was just wondering if you could come up with anybody like off the top of your head. Defensively is like, is playing at the top of their game for the last 10 years. It's like, you see that guy, oh shit, you don't want to play against that guy. Probably nobody, right?
Yeah, no.
All right.
I can't think of anybody, Rich, because it's a different game nowadays.
Now, I'm going to say, exactly, it's a different game, and that's the argument that everybody's going to have, and I understand that. But I had an argument with my son the other night, because he likes to get me going about LeBron James and how he's being he's being the greatest of all time, better than Michael Jordan. You can't ever say that. I'm just sorry, and it's because of the competition. I'm going to give you a bunch of reasons now why Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time over LeBron James. And I'm going to start by saying Dennis Rodman, David Robinson, Dikembe Mutombo, Alonzo Mourning, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, Kevin Garnett, Marcus Camby, Ron Artest, Gary Payton, Charles Oakley, Allen Iverson, Reggie Miller, Keem Olajuwon, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, the list goes on and on and on and on. Those guys did not play for the same team. They played against each other, dude. And these are the people that Michael Jordan was fighting with on a daily basis to be the greatest player of all time. Okay? He got the shit beat out of him by the Pistons. And what he did, he went back and he gained 25 pounds of muscle just so he could beat the shit out of Bill Laimbeer, he said. I mean, LeBron James is not doing that. And again, gifted. I mean, come on, man. Yes, he's gifted. He's a great athlete. He's a specimen. He's a beast. He could have been a football player. He could have done anything you want. And then when he's on that court, he just looks like he's the biggest and the baddest in the league. That's because there's nobody there now. Not that I'm saying there's nobody there. It's a very offensive-heavy league. But back then it was the name of the game was to stop the scorers. The name of the game today is to score as much as you can. And I think that's, like you said, it is a different game now. But if LeBron James had 3 games in a row where he had 30 points and he's playing the Pistons on a Wednesday night, Ben Wallace is not letting him get 20 points that night. You know what I mean? I'm just tired of the Jordan and LeBron James thing. And he's creeping up on, I know it's because he's creeping up on Kareem. He couldn't scrub Kareem's jock. I'm sorry, man. He should go. Him and you know what? Maybe they should play together on the same team out in Los Angeles, out there where everybody is nice to each other, where everybody has nice gestures out in California.
They're gonna put the Empire State Building in pulling yellow.
No, that's another thing. Do you think that Los Angeles would ever light up their main building in green and white for the Celtics? Come on!
I was going to ask you, Rich, about that.
Right.
Because the Celtics played the Lakers a couple of weeks ago, and you know how rivalries are? Your rivalries are Yankees and Red Sox and Jets and Dolphins, let's say. What do you think about do you think the Lakers-Celtics rivalry is one of the best ever?
It's not there anymore. It was, without a doubt. Don't get me wrong.
Right?
But no, Magic and Bird, and and once that rivalry left, listen, there's still, the history of it, I guess, and it's still but Tatum and LeBron, it just, again, it goes back to the players not staying on the teams and being Celtics and being Lakers and being, Magic and Kareem were Lakers. Bird and McHale was Celtics. Maybe hopefully Tate will be a Celtic. But LeBron's not a Laker. Westbrook's not a Laker. You know what I mean? They are, but, these guys don't have a home. They don't have a home. Again, I don't take anything away from LeBron James as being a phenomenal athlete and a phenomenal basketball player, probably one of the top 5, maybe 10 players ever. But you can't tell me that he's playing against the same competition as he was playing against as Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas and Scottie Pippen and all those guys I just aforementioned, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. Those guys came to beat each other, not to be friends. And that's, and that's it. That's LeBron James. Look, you're a great basketball player, but let's stop with the comparisons to Michael Jordan.
Also, Rich, I spoke about, when we were talking about this pre-show, I told you that there's more franchises today. So what is more NBA franchises? I mean, the talent's a little bit diluted, because you add in the teams and stuff. Same thing goes with baseball and football. But, there's more teams now. So the competition sucks, basically, compared to what it was.
Yeah. And it's just, it's just like you said. You keep saying it's a different game, and it is a different game. It is different. Isaiah Thomas played with a broken foot in the finals in the 80s. A broken goddamn foot. I never liked, Isaiah Thomas. Wasn't a big fan. Thought he was a jerk. But when I saw that story about him, he finished the second half with a broken foot and they won the basketball game, dude. I mean, LeBron James isn't doing that. He took a day off because his hamstring hurt because he didn't want to play in Brooklyn.
That's another thing, Rich. Did you see that? They played in Brooklyn on Monday night, and then they played at the Garden on Tuesday, and all the guys sat out basically Monday night. They played on. That's so stupid.
Could you again? I'm going to bring it back. Maybe I'll just use somebody else. Let's use Kevin Garnett maybe for an example because he's another guy that was a gamer. Do you think Kevin Garnett is coming to New York and missing 2 games, one in the Garden and one in Brooklyn? Never. No, never. No. You think Kobe Bryant is missing those games?
Never. And the scheduling is back to back, but they're staying in the same city, Rich. It's not like they're traveling.
Right.
They play a game in Brooklyn, the next game's in New York. So they're basically in their beds 11 o'clock at night or whatever. They stay out all night or whatever. Even if they go to bed at 4 in the morning, you still can get a full night's sleep because you're not traveling or anything. You get the game the next day. So it's not like you were traveling. And you know what? They came from Boston on Friday, so they had a couple of days to rest too before playing the Nets on Monday night.
Basketball has become such a baby sport, but I do enjoy watching it, but it's just become such a different sport, man. And it's because of guys like
What
LeBron
happened?
James.
What happened to LeBron on? I didn't see the Celtics Lakers game, but what happened to LeBron at the end of the game? He got fouled or something, and the referees had to come right out and apologize to him. The NBA had to come and apologize. It's LeBron.
I turned the game off at that point. I couldn't watch anymore. I literally turned the game off at that point.
And the Lakers almost won that game too.
And what's his name? What do you call it? What's his name was making a big. Who was making the biggest case about it? He's like basically crying on the court. One of these Lakers that's kissing LeBron's ass. I forgot who it was, but they're basically like crying on the court. Did you see what what's his name did last night? Adams. Did you see what Adams did to Mitchell last night? Donovan Mitchell.
He got suspended. You mean Brooks on Memphis?
Oh,
right?
Brooks. I don't know why I say Adams.
He punched him in the balls. Right?
Punched him in the balls last night. He punched him in the balls. Now, if you look at that matchup, Donovan Mitchell is very undersized compared to him. But he got hit in the balls, and he all of a sudden became a 7-foot tall center. He was all over him, dude.
Yeah, both guys got suspended. I think Brooks got suspended and Mitchell got fined. But yeah, and I said, wait a second, I had to do a double take because Mitchell's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
I said, what's Mitchell getting in a fight? It's crazy. I
Yeah.
didn't realize. But then I saw what happened to him before and stuff. So I can see why he got in the fight.
It's funny. Aiden said the same thing. He's like, Donovan Mitchell is the nicest guy in the world. What happened there? So we kind of like watched it a couple times. Like, he punched him in the balls. Anybody would get mad at that.
I had to double take too because the Cavaliers have these weird uniforms. I was like, is that Donovan Mitchell?
yeah. I know. And I like Donovan Mitchell too. I was hoping he was going to become a Knick, but whatever.
Actually, Chris Paul might be coming to the Knicks. Rich, I was reading he might be coming from the Suns this week trade. So I don't know. A lot of rumors flying around.
All right. Is Chris Paul going to get in a time machine and go back 15 years and get Chris Paul?
That's the thing. I mean, what are they going to give up for? How old is he? Like 35, 36-year-old Chris Paul, right?
As I love Chris Paul to death, he's still really good. He's still a really good point guard. But Chris Paul 10 years ago is going to help the Knicks win a championship. Not Chris Paul now.
No, I doubt it. Just, I guess, put fans in the seats. But I think the Knicks are doing pretty good. They got some pretty young players. That point guard's pretty good, right?
Yeah, Jalen Brunson's playing well, and what's his name's playing well.
Yeah, he's playing with his dad. His dad's like the assistant coach, Brunson, right?
Yeah.
He's playing under his dad.
Yeah, they're definitely they're making it they're making a run for it. I mean, they're not going to really. They might be a 7 or 8 seed, and they're going to get their asses kicked by the Celtics probably in the first round. But whatever. They're making some noise, which is good. It's always good. For the Garden of Eden, I guess they call it, to be playing good basketball. Which I don't understand why they're still saying that Madison Square Garden is the place to be. But I don't know. Last time they won a championship, I think I was 1 year old. So that's a long time ago. If you guys know how old I am.
Yeah, I mean, remember that the Garden of Eden, all those. For college, it was okay. Remember Chris Mullin and stuff. St. John's playing in it, but the Garden of Eden, I think that wore off. I don't think they. Right? It's not that anymore.
No.
Right? It's not the place to play anymore. Basically,
No, yeah, exactly. Brooks trying to be Matt Barnes. Who's Bumblebee Tuna? That's funny. Trying to be Matt Barnes. That's funny. Yeah, dude.
That's great.
Who's Bumblebee Tuna? That's funny. Yeah, man. All right, E. Anything else you want to go over?
I think we covered it all, Rich. All the topics that we wanted and stuff. Of course, next week we'll have our Super Bowl preview. We will touch on the NBA trades that were made this week on Thursday. And who knows, maybe some NFL trade rumors happening this week. And also, Rich, you know what happens a week from Tuesday? Pitchers and catchers. How about that?
Yes, we're going to do a pitchers and catchers show because we love our baseball. We'll do an hour on pitchers and catchers and nobody will listen.
We were going to say we were talking baseball. All of a sudden, baseball season starts in a week. So what happened to winter, right?
Yeah, I know, dude. I know. I hear you. All right, so I'll see you. We'll see you maybe next week sometime for 31. But we can't make it so like it was like 10 days since we did our last one. So we got to get back to a week-to-week basis. We got to get back to a week-to-week basis, Mr. Accountant.
Yeah, no, definitely. I hear you, man. I hear you. Definitely week-to-week basis, and Yeah, looking forward to our Super Bowl special next week. And I just want to put it out there. I'm going to put on Facebook. My cat predicts the Super Bowl. So what we do is we put 2 helmets on the floor, 2 bowls of food, and whatever one she goes to first is going to be the winner. So she's had some success in the past. So she's really good at picking games. And if you remember Jimmy the Greek, we got Macy the cat.
All right there, brother. So, all right, man. It's another episode 30 all wrapped up. It was a pleasure hanging with you again. And, guys, we're going to put this out on a podcast in a couple minutes. So, listen, get the word out, guys. We're going to be back now. Again, we were gone for 2 weeks, but we're not going to be gone that long again. So tell all your friends. It's going to be out on podcast, Spotify, Apple, all over the place. All righty, episode 30, wrapping up, brother.
Murph, good times as always, and just want to tell everyone, stay warm. But you know what, though? It will be nice on Sunday, so just get through the next 24 hours, everyone.
All right, guys. And like I always say, guys, later.
Peace out, everyone. Take care.
All right. Take it easy, everyone. Good night.